Hey everybody, happy Monday. It is the 15th, and I've said this before, but on the 26th, I'd like to launch checkpoint number 2, which means today, well, not just today, I guess this week is going to be a pretty crucial week, and then next week is going to be kind of wrapping some of the stuff up and maybe polishing a little bit, adding some content, that sort of thing. I feel like if this week doesn't go well, that we'll need to push the launch a little bit. So I'm gonna try to make this week go well. Anyway, tenets. Let's start with that. I do this every Monday morning. I look through all the things that are important to me. Today, I think I wrote something for next week. Reclaiming, enjoying the journey. The get to the point thing, I wrote consider dropping. And post stream to dos. I will just think about this stuff. All right, so post stream to dos. I think yeah. I still think this is a summer thing and should probably be on hold until September. I'll just keep writing that every week, I guess. I'll put this over here. Hey, Avada. Welcome in. Happy Monday to you. Where did I put the document I was just typing in? There it is. All right, let's manage these windows a little bit. There. So next up, get to the point. I think this is going fine. I think this should just be retired. I think it's really, really important, but I think we've mostly incorporated it. Retired on today, rationale. I feel like I've mostly incorporated this, but also there aren't that many opportunities weekly to demonstrate this. Retiring this, sustainability, going fine, yeah. And bricklaying. With the next checkpoint coming up so soon, I don't think this has been so bad because there's a lot of new work, but I suspect it's going to become more important as I work through the content tasks. Yeah. Okay. Successes. Great interview last week. I really like that. Got the party chooser done. Always in beta. How is my shirt in beta? I think this sounds like an AI thing. Hi, Trackly. What else happened last week? I'm out of things to say. No, that's fine. Also, I don't think you should keep this up. I feel like everything's going to probably start to sound the same, and you can just say hi if you want to. It's up to you. I think what else happened? Yeah, party chooser. Yeah, I normal successes. I don't think every week is going to have some major success in it, but I think that if you don't even find a small success, that probably you're not looking hard enough. This is my identity. Okay. Well, I feel like we should put a limit on it then. If you truly do have a spreadsheet, let's cap it at 45. Yeah, so the next thing I wanted to show here, I'm going to mark this as done. I booked a user research session. This sounds formal, hey Stilling, but this is just me talking to a friend saying, hey, have you played Skeleseller? And they said no. And I said, could you maybe play it like maybe this weekend? And that way, so again, it's the 15th right now, and the 26th is the launch of checkpoint number 2. So this weekend is like the 22nd or something like that. So if we do a user research session here, I'll have had a week to work on the game, but I will still have some time to fix up any feedback. So I think this will be a good amount of time to do this. It'll be, I don't know. Yeah, there's just a lot to think about. That was a joke. Oh. No. You don't have to worry about donating money or anything like that. It's fine. I'm just happy that you're here and that you're engaged. Yeah, so I did 3 things over the weekend that I wanted to share. One is I put in the new adventurer sprites. So you can see there's the rogue. In fact, let's just grant most things here. There's the cleric, there's the warrior, and there is the mage. And to make this easier to see, here they all are. So those new graphics are in the game. They're walking around. When you start a battle, the graphics actually show up there. So that's good. I added the save and load UI. Originally, I had to press a button. Now it's actually a pause screen. And I also moved the provide feedback button here. So if I save the game, I had all 4 of these characters. Now if I load the game, we have all 4 of these characters. The UI states are a little bit different. I don't care about saving those yet. And then the last thing that I did was, oh yeah, I finished this UI. It looks about the same, but I changed something here. It's not worth going into, but it's done, at least for now. And I think it'll be functional for checkpoint number 2. I think this will be a point of annoyance for people though. And I think the reason why is because I think people are going to want to restart their battles that they did. And that's something I want to write down here if we haven't already done it. Then we just got to start working. There's too much stuff to do. So what is this? No battles have ever been run. After battles have been completed. Start a battle, repeat previous battle. Yeah, this is the important thing here. Hey, Buffy. So yeah, we got some stuff done over the weekend. Pretty happy with that. And I am going to work on the new quest system. Some of you might not know what the old quest system is, so I'll show that really fast. The old quest system is this. You would click upgrade shop, and then it would say quest available. And when you click this, you could say accept. And this is as far as we got. It's not perfect. It was, find 10 axe, find 5 fire sword. And there was no like, here's what the reward is or anything. So you'd click one of these and then you'd see, okay, you need to find 10 axes. And then anytime you did find an axe, rather than put it into the item displays, it would put it into this bin and increment your counter. So, I mean, pretty straightforward at this point. This is a way of, it's essentially if each axe is worth $15, this says this quest costs you $150 to complete, but you also have to find the items. And then it would have been that when you completed this, you would have gotten a reward that was randomized at the time of creation. And now it's going to be totally different. You're going to get like quest points and you'll have a player-wide skill tree you can spend them on. Yeah, it is coming along quite well. I'm very happy with the progress. I'm excited because the way you can kind of consider almost any game dev to work is that you make systems and you make content. And at some point you've made all the systems. You've got a battle system and you got a skill system and you've got whatever else you might need in your game. But that on its own is not a game. And if you just had content, it would be a document because I guess you wouldn't have any systems made. We're coming closer to the point where the systems are almost all there. There are a couple that are missing. Hiring adventurers right now is literally just a button in the game. We need to eventually turn this into a guild building or something like that. Probably same thing with leveling up. Then is there any other major system left? I don't know if there is. And maybe we come up with some as time goes on and we determine that there's some feedback we need to address that we haven't. But checkpoint 3 is the beta, which is when all the systems should be done. So autosave system, okay, this is another system, but this is kind of minor, and if we didn't do this, it wouldn't matter too much. Yeah, achievements would be another system, but again, kind of minor, wouldn't matter too much. The cutscenes, that's definitely new. But other than that, I think that's about it. Maybe setting up a new shop. Yeah. Everything else is just more of what we currently have. So, yeah, we made a lot of progress, and now we're going to try to get quest stuff done. And this is one of the key differences between checkpoint 1 and checkpoint 2. Like, sure, adventurers walk around town instead of just being icons somewhere, but the quest is an actual functional difference. So I spent some time over the weekend doing work. One of the things I did was I wrote down everything we need to do for this. And it is right here. We're going to paste this over to this. Why did that not work? There we go. Or you could hook up the game to Twitch so visitors have names from chat. Oh man, that's a really good idea. Wow. I am gifting you a point for that. That's a very interesting idea. Yeah. All right, I'm writing that down. Can't keep up with my code and project if I work longer than 2 months. I'm a beginner though. Are there videos or books for that? I think, to be honest, a lot of it has to do with writing maintainable code. I'm assuming you're talking about it's hard from the code perspective and not from the motivation perspective. Because if you're talking about the motivation perspective, that could happen with any project and I'd have a different response. But if you're talking about from the code perspective, I think a lot of it has to do with writing maintainable code and kind of using what you've learned instead of always learning new stuff. And if you're a beginner, almost any project you tackle is going to be lots of new stuff. And at some point you're like, oh, I want to apply these techniques, but you've only just learned them. So a lot of what I think people see is at the beginning of the project, you're learning, you code something that's sort of suboptimal. And then after a few months of getting comfortable with it, you're like, I should really go back and fix all that other stuff that I did. So you end up in this constant loop of like, I'm just going to rewrite code I did and never finish a project. So what I suggest is tackle a small project and get it to release. And when I say small, I mean like yeah, maybe 2 months. And I know you said that you have a problem working for longer than 2 months, but releasing it is going to be the rest of the work for it. And it doesn't matter what state it's in. Don't make it be perfect. Don't even aim for perfection. Hey Smooth, hey Phil. What are we learning today? We're working on the quest system today. And I guess more importantly, there are two parts of the quest system. The quest system is the actual quests themselves, which are pretty much done. And then there's the rewards, which we haven't touched at all. So there's a decent amount of work here, and I'd love to get it done by the end of like Wednesday, and it's going to be very tight doing that. All right, so first we have make quests follow a predetermined track for each shop instead of offering a choice of which quest to do. So we have quest IDs. Yeah, the quests are all named pretty simply right now. So how about this? When a shopkeep gives you a quest, we need to figure out which quest you still need to do. Where do we give you a quest? Here it is. Handle accept quest. Handle start quest button. So this gives you choices. We're not going to have you have choices here. Yeah, let's make a new branch here. This is going to be quite a lot. Checkout -B quest revamp. Num quests available -. Toggle new quest indicator. Make a new one with a quest ID. Oh, it gives you the quest here. Okay, so we need something that, given a list of quests, can tell you which next one it should do. And I feel like this can just be a static function somewhere. So let's go make a new folder for quests. Source. Do we have a quest thing here? I don't think so. I don't see anything. All right, new folder, quest. It is already there? Oh, it was off to the side. Okay. What's in here? All quest data, quest ID. Yeah. All quest data is where this might go. But basically, I want a function where it's like public quest ID ? Get next quest. And you pass in the shop type. I don't think we have something like that. I think it's just item category. Yeah, and I think we'll just use that then. So you pass in an item category of shop. Actually, this should really just be a shop ID, but for now, this will be fine. And then the quests you've already done. #set quest ID quests finished. Or finished quest IDs. Yeah. So that's what I want. Now, where do we want it? Let's just put it into all quest data for now. Nice thing about static functions like this is you can just move them wherever you want. So get next quest. Okay, now something needs to know, and maybe all quest data is where we store quests. I guess this function is technically going to be where I store the dictionary of which quest you do. Yeah, let's do that. So item category to a list of quest ID. Quest by category equals new. I'd like to actually flesh this out here. How do we do that? Oh, neat. Okay, so item category dot what? Weapon, armor, and potion. Now what's the problem here? There's no target for new list quest ID. I guess you would just do this, but I don't know if this is gonna work. Attributes are not valid in this context. I guess you can't use collection initialization like that. Man, do I have to do this? I'm not sure. Here we use new, but I thought you could use the new collection syntax for this. Okay, that worked. Can we get rid of this now? We must be able to because we didn't do it on the next line. All right, good. Now we need to know which ones you've completed. So quest for category, and actually this should, that's it. Love the keyboard. Hey, Fury. Yeah, take horn keyboard. I very much like it. Find should be used instead of first or default. Does find return the first of something? First element, yeah. And it's already a T question mark. Nice. Now what is the problem here? Cannot declare instance members. Oh, this just needs to be static. All right. Quest IDs themselves are probably needed to change at some point. But there, now we have get next quest. We don't have a way of passing in which quest IDs you've already done, but one step at a time. And then when you click the accept quest button, which is what, from a shop keep? Yeah. So accept a quest, handle accept quest button. So I guess delete all of this. All quest data dot get next quest. So quest ID next quest ID equals get next quest. Item category. Where do we have that? This is the shop keep. How do we get the shop? Shop keep component dot shop. Easy peasy. And then as far as the quest that you've done, we'll just pass in an empty list right now. Now, if that's null, we don't have a quest for you to do. This ideally should never happen because you should never be able to accept a quest if there was never one for you to get. So throw new invalid. Operation exception, no quests available for the shop. Which really just means you've done them all. Inuka recently got addicted to Dungeon Clawler. Sort of close to an idle game. You use one of these claw things to grab weapons. Interesting. Let me take a look at this. I feel like a lot of the carnival games worked their way into video games. All right, let me see. Roguelike claw machine deck builder. Oh my god. This is how we advertise games now. I mean, it does look cool. Oh, they put in like a Peggle thing too? Or I guess a Plinko board. Yeah. Interesting. So Nuka, the launch is coming up. How you feeling now? Is it worth storing the completed quest within a save file? Yes. In fact, it's necessary to do that. Stop. Okay. Well, I will stop then. Null check can be simplified. Yeah, this is the coalesce operator. Yeah. Peggle thing for bonus levels. Yeah. Okay, so here we know it has to exist, and that's where we start a quest. But the dialog box, what is this used for? Queue free. We'll have already queue freed it. So I guess we can change this. Handle start quest button. It wouldn't be a start quest button. In fact, let's just do this. Put this here. We make a new quest with the next quest ID. Dot value, I guess. Sure. No quest available minus minus. This is not how this is going to work eventually, but that's fine. We set the quests. We turn the new quest indicator off. We print that we've accepted the quest. And then we close this thing. All right, let's go try that. All this is going to do when we test this out is it's going to always give us whatever that first quest is. Yeah, find 10 axes. But sure, this is still worth testing. So let's do that. Grant most things and then accept quest. And yeah, now we have the find 10 axes thing. And I guess let's just test the other ones. This should give you, what is it? Find 3 mana potions, so it should be the blue potion. Yes. And then this should be find cloaks. Yeah, cool. Okay. How do save files work? You just need to track everything in a JSON or whatever file and so on. Are there any shortcuts you can take? Yeah, so generally, if you think about it, you think about what needs to be saved in order to represent a thing, anything that you're saving. So, for example, when it's an ability in this game, what do you need? Well, you need the ID of the ability. So it's something like ability ID.fireball, and then you need the level of the ability. So it might be 5. That's not true in every game. Maybe in other games there are other things you need to save about it, like whatever mods you got or how much damage exactly it does. But in this game, that's it. A level 5 fireball is the same as every other level 5 fireball. So you are serializing just the properties that you need to store, and not things like, okay, what's the graphic that's used for it, or what's the, I don't know, whatever else that you can just already know at runtime without needing to load from the save file. And then, yeah, when it comes to loading it, you just set these properties again. So you figure out which ability corresponds to the ID you have and then set its level and you're done. Paying a talent agency out of pocket to have some content creators play the game, since we banked literally on a producer helping market the game. And the producer backed out or fell through. Am I serializing? Do you plan to obscure some of this info from player manipulation? Well, technically serializing is just putting it into a format, whether it's human readable or not. So I guess the obscuring doesn't necessarily play hand in hand with that. But yes, a tiny bit of obfuscation. And it doesn't matter so much in a single player game. And this is one of the things I've been talking about quite a lot, is like, and with the monetization we have of this game, if there are no microtransactions and it's a single player game, then you shouldn't really care too much about your players cheating. If it were a multiplayer game, if you needed to, convince people to go spend $2 every once in a while, then yes, cheating can be a big problem. But yeah, I don't think it matters too much for this game. Hey, Caleb. How's it going? Did you share the cake with people? Also, hey, Darkstorm. Hey, Zafway. Okay, so this worked. Let's go back to here. Make quest follow-up predetermined track. Yeah, so now what we should do is we should probably store which quests you've done. They really enjoyed it. Nice. Yeah, it looked like it came out really well. And it looked like it was a decent amount of work. I'm kind of jumping around, but yeah, where's the saving and loading bit? Here, handle saving and loading quest progress. Okay, so somewhere we need to track which quests you've done. And no, not even that. It's also what progress you have. So it's not just which one's complete or which isn't. That's Boolean. We need to track the quest progress itself. So we need ID and number of items turned in, which I guess can just be serialized quests. Yeah. So I'll write this down. We should serialize the quest class and be able to restore them. This is part of the shop thing that we've got to do. We need to make sure the shop state is set correctly. And wherever we store quests, that means that the shop needs access to it. What if there's leaderboards? I don't think leaderboards, it doesn't really matter what your save file has for a leaderboard, because the way that a leaderboard works is that there's some API call to a web server somewhere, a server somewhere, and you tell it the score. So your save file could contain anything, and it's eventually going to make a post call to /scores or something like that. And you could just fudge this yourself. And even if you couldn't, you could, cheat engine your way through the game such that it's not you generally can't trust scores from single player games because you can't tell if they're even in a game state they should be in. Pretty much perfect, yeah. Well, it sounds like all paid off, Caleb. So good job. Happy birthday again. So, yeah. We need to store quests in a place that the shops can access them. So my gut feeling said like, okay, let's have town and let's have like an all quest progress or something like that. I guess the shops themselves can store their own quest progress. We could have 3 separate things. Could have each shop store its own set of quests. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Is about selling skeletons? No. You are a skeleton that sells. Should make you sell bones. Ah, yes. Skeleseller. Hey, Ski. Whoa, whoa. Human traffic some skeletons. Skeletons can be more than just human. That's close-minded. Is there going to be a problem by doing this, storing quests this way? I guess we would have needed to store quests anyway somewhere. We could have like a quest component. Could have a quest component. But then anytime well, I guess we don't need to. I guess we don't ever care from the town perspective which quests you did. All we care is how many quest points do you have. Okay, this could store the quests. We need to know. There's another tiny problem here, which is, let's say, you know, quest number 1 takes 10 swords. And let's say in the future we're like, you know, that's not enough. Let's make it take 15 swords. We need to make sure that your save file knows that you completed it, even though we could tell originally that you completed it because we knew you had the maximum number of items, but that maximum might go up. But that's like cleanup level work, I think. Clean up. So make sure we save that quests are complete in case we ever change how many items it takes. Yeah, for them to be completed. I'm still torn on where to save this stuff. What else do we store for shops? Do we have components here? Yeah, add component, shop keep, shop component, shop component. Oh, we could sort it here. We could just store your quest that you have completed. How do we save your shop information though? Shop save data, item category, level, and items. Is that here? Item category, level's not here. I don't know where we do this. But I guess let's search for all shop save data. Wait, what? Where does this come from? Here it is. Yeah, shop save data. Where do we create this? Oh, nice. We have a save data thing here. Oh, cool. Yeah, then let's save this here. I think this makes the most sense. I think we put quests into the shop component and just have a way to serialize them. Yeah. Yeah, Vafi, that's pretty much exactly what I'm saying. And I think this will work out pretty well. So we need to track public. It doesn't really need to be a list, I guess. Actually, I think a dictionary would make the most sense. A dictionary of quest ID to quest question mark. No, we would just not have stored it. Yeah, quests. Get private set. All right, import all this garbage. There we go. So these are quests that you have either started or finished. They are not quests that you've never touched before. Yeah. So now in the shop keep, when we pass in an empty hash set, we want to pass in all the quests that you've completed. And I guess that could be something we have here. Public hash set quest ID get completed quest. Oh, there's an is complete thing. There is not. No, there is, yeah. Now items turned in is greater than or equal to number of items needed. Yeah, this if statement is going to have to change at some point. Because like I said, we might change the underlying data of the quest. Now, granted, actually, now that I think about it, no, we can't do that. I was going to say what we could do is just make a new quest with all the same data as the last one and then just up the value. But that would probably break your progression order that you have. So let's not worry about that. All right, I want to go back to that line of code. Where was that? Here, get completed quest. So this is inside the shop. We get all the quest IDs, but they're complete. That sounds good. Now in shop keep, we want to do that. So we want to say hash set quest ID. Yeah, finish quest IDs. Get completed quests. No definition found. What? Where'd I put that? Where did I put that? Oh, I put it in shop component. Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Oh, this is shop keep component though. Okay. Fine. I guess it can be over here. This is not a smart thing to do. Yeah, what am I doing? I should just store it in components if I'm going to store it in components. It does have a shop component, and we do get it here. But yeah, I feel like if we're going to do that, let's do that the right way. Can't you have a variable like completed? Yes, you can, but then the rest of the code needs to know which version of that to use, because there's going to be one, like while running the game, you want to make sure that the number of items needed is greater than or equal to the other way. Number of items turned in is greater than or equal to the number of items needed. And then while loading the game, you want to just check is completed. So I need to make that change. And this is part of like, since we're trying to do all of these items eventually, it's tempting to go through like 6 different ones right now. I'm just trying to stay on track with like 2-ish. Okay, so what we got to change is over here. This is the shop, but we actually need the shop component equals, or shop component equals ECS.get component, shop component on the shop. And this goes here. And then this goes here. And then maybe we should say this is get finished quest. No, I think complete is fine. I just wonder, I use this parlance somewhere else. Yeah, finished quest IDs. Let's use the word completed everywhere then. Completed quest IDs. Same thing here. Completed quest IDs. Oh, what happened with that? Completed. And do I put that anywhere else? Finished quest? No, that's it. Okay. And that should do it, I think. No, we never add to the completed quest IDs. Okay, so we need to know where that is. Well, we can just check in the quest where we mark it as completed. Oh, we don't ever mark it as completed. Well, we check to see if it's complete somewhere. Hey, Grace, it's going well. I have a lot of work to do in the next 2 weeks because next Friday, not this Friday, I'm planning on launching checkpoint number 2. And it's a little daunting because there's a lot to do. But I think it'll be possible. Yeah. All right, so here it is. If the quest is complete, then mark that it's completed. Yeah. So at this point is where we want to set. Actually, anytime it's. Wait a second. The quest is stored here that you're currently on. Yeah, this might need to change too. Oh man. Twitch just made me re-verify my account. Have I seen the clip? I haven't, but I'm guessing it's a reference to the Skelepathy or something like that. Because somebody else commented on this the other day. This Friday and next Friday are the same Friday. Yeah. That's why I was saying not this Friday, because that will clarify that clearly I must mean a different day. So it has to be the one after this week. But yeah, the 26th. Yeah, Friday next week. Yeah. Okay, as long as this quest is inside the dictionary, which it isn't, then we're fine. So let's go add it to the dictionary and then probably stop tracking this in multiple places. Probably get rid of, what is this, shop.quest. And maybe just store the current quest ID. Since the shop component has a dictionary of quest. It's a fun podcast called Mostly Technical. You know, I've never really gotten into podcasts, and I don't know what it is. Like, I don't mind listening to an episode here or there, but it's just not a thing that I like doing more than once. And I've tried at one point in my life, a friend and I were like, we should make a podcast. So then the friend suggested a bunch of podcasts to listen to, and I went and checked them out. And I just still never really enjoyed them. You listen to it while you work? Yeah. Yeah. I do like audiobooks. And I'd been hankering for Harry Potter for whatever reason. So I got the first book and I was listening to it. My wife came over and she's like, I want to listen too, but I want to start from the beginning. And she'd actually purchased it a long time ago. I just got mine from the library. So I listened to it a second time for an hour or so. I'm not that far into the book. But I forgot a ton of stuff. Like stuff that has no consequence whatsoever, like the Harry's uncle. Where does he work? I did not remember. It's in drills, apparently. I would be very bad at Harry Potter trivia unless you ask, what is Harry's last name? I'd be like, it's Patter. Yeah, so we had to store this in the dictionary. I didn't actually do this. It's wherever we make a new quest, which I guess we won't know until we get here. All right, handle start quest. Let's store this now in the shop component. This stuff shouldn't be in shopkeep, probably. I think a lot of this is going to have to change at some point. Probably shouldn't be storing a lot of like quest stuff in shopkeep at all. Should be in the shop. E.g. handle start quest button isn't really for the shopkeep to do. Where does Harry's uncle work? In drills. Actually, I don't know the name of the place. Especially this Leans guy, yeah. Just turn him off. Does the free trial. Oh yeah, if you can get him from that, I think that's good. Hey, Hammer guy, thanks. And I don't know if you heard, but on the 26th is, I cannot type the 26th, is when the next checkpoint's going to be. So if you want to check it out, it's going to be free to play then. I mean, it'll also only have been, you know, like 2-point-something months of work. Anyway, if you haven't heard of an app called Libby, it lets you, at least in the US, connect to libraries. And it's not like there's a small wait time for popular books, but they're free and it's year round. What's Potter's first name? Oh God, Harold Harvey. I'm great at trivia. Never actually, well, yeah, I've never done a theme trivia like that, but I probably would be bad. So yeah, this is the problem I was talking about, is we make a new quest here, but then we need the shop to be able to store the quest. And I guess we set it here. So I guess we could put this inside of the quest dictionary. Shop component equals get shop component dot quest. I'll just say set quest. Quest better know their own IDs, or else this is going to be annoying. I think I did this. I did not. Oh wait, no, there it is. Yeah, it's right there. Whew. Where do we set that? I don't even... Interesting. We never set this, so this will never work. Huh. Okay, well, I mean, it's dead simple to set. We just do this. And then here we do quest.id. No, just quest, yeah. Then make this function. Public void set quest. This should know exactly what to do. Perfect. All right, so what have we done now? We have set, and we have a way of getting it. So this should work. Let's go test it. The way we need to test this, what's the BR thing for? SWG? Am I missing something? So we're going to use this one. We're going to accept the quest. We have to turn in 10 axes, which I am going to very quickly get annoyed at. Wow, it just happened to generate all axes. That's it's pretty nice. Now let's speed this up. Yeah, so it just says upgrade shop right now. We got to wait for this to hit 10. And then we click accept a quest. And now it should be the fire sword one. Yes, perfect. Okay, but we don't have a way of generating fire swords. So I guess let's go do a couple things. Let's change all quest data so that instead of requiring 10 of something, it requires 2. And then let's go change the instance IDs so that we can get fire swords. Yeah, so here are axes. Let's also have this grant fire sword. There, we don't need 3 to 9. I guess just 3 to 3 will work. I don't know how many fire swords we need, but yeah, like 3 to 3. Let's go try running that. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's going to fail. It's going to fail after I do the fire sword quest, I guess. Although if I already know this, then why are we testing this? Where do we make the new quest? Here. Oh, no, we won't be able to accept the quest because it's going to throw a message there. Yeah. Okay, but we should write in a cleanup to not even show the button. Don't show the accept quest button at all. Well, don't show that a shopkeep even has a quest available if there's no other quest in the chain for you to do. Yeah. All right, let's try that. So first quest is going to say get 2 axes. We grant items. We hopefully got axes. Yep. All right. Wait for that to finish. They're going to sell the fire swords because that's not a quest item right now. Come on. Bring one more axe over here. There we go. The warriors got it. All right. Now we accept a quest. And you saw that the rogue went from about to put it on the item display into putting it in the bin. All right, now we need grant items again. We need fire swords to be there. And I'll speed up the game a little bit. So they'll turn in their 2 swords over here. Yep. Cool. And now we say accept quest and it's going to fail. Should have failed. We didn't run from here. We ran from here. That's not good. What happened there? All quest data. Get the first one. This is get quest by category. Where's get next quest? Here it is. Find where completed quest doesn't contain quest ID. Huh. That means we're not marking them complete. Oh yeah, of course. Wait, no, not of course. Is that of course? Completed quests. We pass this in based on the quest data that we have. Get completed quests. So this must be wrong. Where quest values is complete, select quest ID. 2 hash set. Yeah, this all looks fine. Wow, that's bizarre. Let's put a breakpoint there. I should have just launched this from here to begin with so that I could have set a breakpoint already. But I guess it's too late for that. Okay, grant, accept a quest. This is going to have 0 completed quest IDs so far. Yeah, 0. All right, let's really speed this up. All right, they turn it in. I accept a new quest. We should now have 1 completed quest ID. Yep, find 10 axes. Although it was really like find 2. That's all right. So now we get the next quest is for fire swords. They turn in the fire swords. Then we accept another quest. And now what is going on here? There should be 2. Yes. Now get next quest shouldn't return anything. Quest by category should be the 2 quests we have above. Yep. And then completed quest IDs should contain both of those. What? This should be an empty set. Evaluation of native methods is not supported. Okay, let's just back out of this. Next quest ID is set to find 10 access. Huh. What? I'm so confused as to how that happened. Yeah, I was making botland a long time ago, Mercury. Are you storing completed quests? You can use accept to filter them from my comment. I am storing completed quests. I'll have to take a look at that. Yeah, Mercury, I guess the last time you were here was in 2024. Yeah. It has been a while. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't streaming for like 3 years because I was working at Google and I quit back in October. So I've been back since December. And yeah, now we're working on a new game called Skeleseller. But yeah, how have you been? How have the last 4 years been? All right, so we saw that completed quests exist. We had the right category. I just don't see what's wrong with this. These are IDs. Where's a list of IDs? Yeah. So weird. First occurrence, and this should be a T question mark. Yeah. So weird. All right, let's just hit the play button, I guess, and break into this again. Grant items. Accept. So this part worked fine. It's a hash set, so it can't have the same thing twice in it. And then I go over to here. We have the right completed quest IDs. Yep, and we have the right quest for category. Yeah, okay, let me try something then. Quest for category dot find quest ID dot find 10 axes. Cannot convert to a predicate. Oh, yeah, of course. Quest ID equals this. Yeah. I don't see what's wrong. I just don't see what's wrong. I also don't know why we can't run this. I wonder if Visual Studio would have supported that. This should be so obvious. And it isn't. And we end up getting back always find 10 axes. Yeah. All right, let's since clearly I can't debug this the way I want to, let's go into here and let's try a couple of things. Let's just do for each quest and category. If it doesn't contain it, then print quest ID is an available quest. Actually, let's print it the other way too. Man, I don't get it though. Neither one should be available. And like I said, this is just such a basic thing that what could I possibly be doing wrong? All right, we start the quest, we click the button. It says they're both available. Now we complete it, we click it again. Now it should not say that they're both available. Good. Now we click it again. Oh, they need to turn in axes first. Or swords, I mean. Come on, there's only one other sword. There we go. Yeah, it says that they're both not available. Huh. I think I know what's happening. Yeah, I think I know what's happening. I don't think this works with enumerations because enumerations have a default value. I think we need to like explicitly return null. It says the quest you took was find two axes. Yeah, that's the problem that I was trying to figure out. And I think, like I said, I think I know why. I think this either doesn't have a value, but this doesn't know, or this needs to know that this was potentially null. This should be a quest ID question mark. Turn quest ID. You know what? Let's put a breakpoint right there. Why can't I do this? Oh, let's also rename this, I guess. Quest ID 2. Has hot reload over C# or Visual Studio, not VS Code. Has some config options you can set to get hot reload to Godot projects. Really? Oh, I didn't know that. Huh. Yeah, although I guess it's not really an option for me, but I didn't know about that. Visual Studio for Mac is being sunset or something like that in a month for Mac. Yeah, they have a thing. It'll be retired by August 31st. So I guess some other IDE would have to support it. I wonder if VS Code, hot reload, Godot, C#. I know you said Visual Studio, but I wonder if VS Code has a way of doing this. But yeah, you have found a way to get it. Okay, yeah, I should write that down for sure. That would be pretty cool. GD script. This is apparently easily possible with Visual Studio, and yeah, somehow possible with VS Code, but I haven't set it up yet. Yeah, thanks for telling me about that, Magma. I'll give you a point. If you find a guide or something like that on how to set it up, please do share. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying, Ski. Yeah, I just toned it down to 2 axes because otherwise it would have taken too long every time I need to test this. In fact, I'm going to set this to 1 now. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that's going to be changed in the future back to what it's supposed to be set to. If I want to learn so fast. Well, I mean, you could probably just be this fast with a regular keyboard too. I think it just looks like this keyboard is somehow providing some superpowers, but it's not. Although it is nice. And yeah, I do suggest taking a look into it. I made some videos on this. I'm going to try this one more time, but I think I know what's going on here. And I think this has to do with how enumeration values are saved from find maybe. And I want to test this here. I basically just want to call has value on it and see what it says. What we should have done, this is stupid. I'm not going to spend the time doing this. We're going to do it this way. We're going to, instead of passing incompleted quest IDs this way, we're going to just make a list of both of them. Quest ID dot find axes and quest ID dot whatever the fire swords one is. Yeah, there. So now it'll always act like both of them are there and I can just break in immediately. I see, Ski. Yeah. Yeah, just me trying to save time. All right, so we click this and then this and it should break in. Good. And I care about what? Why didn't it stop on this? Oh, right, because I couldn't set the breakpoint originally. All right, that's fine. We can just press the button again. It doesn't make a difference. Oh, no, we can't. We need there to be an axe. There it is. All right, now we can press the button again. Now this, I'm assuming, has value as false. It's... Oh, this is so weird. No, this isn't doing what I thought it would do. I don't know how this is working. Yeah. Completed quest IDs contains both quests. Quest for category contains both quests. So it shouldn't be able to find either one. Because it's saying that it doesn't contain it inside the completed quest. But when they're... Yeah, I don't know why this is happening this way. Out of curiosity, let's try something. If I say first or default here, which should be exactly the same as doing find, if I'm not mistaken. Test each element, but then it's going to stop at the first one, which is, like I said, pretty much the same as find. In fact, I'm not even totally sure why they're different in this case. Well, let's try this out. I want to see if that works. People report GD script running faster? Huh. I wonder how they benchmarked that. What do I have to do for this to work? Oh yeah, click this button and then this button. All right. What do we see here? Still says find 10x's. Quest ID 2 dot has value is set to true. I don't get it. I just, this is like the easiest possible line of code I could have written, and I don't understand why it's breaking. Huh. Yeah, weird. Is there something else I'm missing here? IDs are just enumeration, so you can use equals on them. It doesn't matter that we're constructing a new one of these every time because we're just getting the values of these. We are getting the correct values. I wonder maybe if I set a breakpoint here, we'll be able to just look at the if statement and find out. Although I'm not sure if we can, wasn't there a way, maybe it's only for TypeScript or something, to set a breakpoint on the lambdas? All right, whatever. Let's go to grant items. Let's try this again. I'm very curious. This is not the kind of thing I would have expected to lose time on. Okay, can we step into this? Yes, we can. So what is the value of this? It's true. And we want the ones where that's not true. So it's not going to find this one. And yet somehow it does. Now it's checking fire swords. This should also be true. Yeah, and we want something that's not true. So then we step into it again and we find, no, now we're done. So now we should be here, I guess. I don't get it. I don't, the only thing I can chalk this up to, and I still don't understand it, is that I'm using an enumeration here and then the link find value. And I'm just guessing this doesn't work. I'm guessing it gives it a value somehow. Link enum find not null, never null maybe. There are dozens of us. This isn't exactly what I want. Never. Yeah, I don't know. First value be the default value. Yeah, this is the problem, right? And like I said, this is the only thing it could possibly be. Either use a question mark operator or use the standard practice of having 0 be none. It says enums are value types and can't be null, but then what's the point of the question mark here? It should wrap it in a nullable type. Yeah, no, it's not. Well, yeah, pain, I guess. But yeah, this does happen to everybody. And in this case, it's like, I think this is a weird set of semantics in C# that you typically shouldn't run into. So C# has two types, I guess, like nullable types and non-nullable types. And an enum is non-nullable. However, when you say that you have a question mark value, it makes a nullable out of it. And then you can check for this. Does it have a value or does it not have a value? But for whatever reason, it's not ever having has value equals false. Oh. Wait, no, that's not true. I was going to say, this was, even with find, this is breaking. I don't think it's that. In fact, I wonder, okay, here's what we could do to test this. Because yeah, maybe I'm making no sense here. If I say public static quest ID question mark testeroni, and I just return null from here, and then we set this equal to this, that's a test of what I'm talking about. If this gets set to find 10 axes, then my hunch is correct. If it doesn't, then I'm just being very dense. So let's try that out. No, this is null. Okay, then I'm being dense. That's what that means. So wait, why does find not return null then either? Because I switched it to first or default just to test something. But yeah, find should return null. Maybe I don't understand. Searching for an element that matches the conditions defined by a specified predicate returns first occurrence within the list. Oh, or the default value for type T. Okay, yeah, that's the problem. The default value is going to be 0. Okay. So, all right. Yeah, thank you, JD, for getting me to be on a different train of thought there. The weird thing that I guess it's a predicate of quest ID, not a predicate of quest ID question mark. Very interesting. It seems so innocuous. A default and nothing's found. Yeah, what I think threw me here is there's a T question mark here. So that's what made me think it could return null. But yeah, it's the default for type T and not of T question mark. The default of type T question mark is null. Yeah, very, very particular thing right there. All right, so we have a couple of, all right, so problem is that find will always return an enum value, not null. So solution number 1 could be just make a 0 value in quest ID that represents none. Solution number 2, don't use find and instead write my own thing that can return null. And solution number 3, well, I mean, solution number 3 would be don't use an enum, but that's not going to be a thing I'm going to do. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the idea of having to check against none or potentially null. I think I like this idea better. But I'm not sure. But anyway, here's what we would do. So if this doesn't contain it, then just return quest ID. So there. And then return null. All right, that would do it. That was my solution 2, I think. What's the problem? The problem is that I was doing find on a quest ID question mark, and it returns the default of quest ID, which is going to be 0 when it can't find something. I think even, I know you mentioned accept. I guess let's take a look at that. What does this do? Produces the set difference of 2 sequences by using the default equality comparer. Yeah, so we could do the accept and then just get the first of those things. I mean, assuming this works. First and second. How about this? Let's try this one first. And then I'll try this other way. Check the comment in the follow-up. When you say in the follow-up, what do you... Oh, in this? Yeah. Okay. Well, let me try this out really fast. All right, accept a quest. This should return nothing now. Yep, good. No quest available. All right, so that way works. Now, what about the other way? Return, how do we want to do this? Quests for category, except completed quests, first or default. Yeah, the problem is the first or default bit here. That's not going to work. We need to do like a toList dot get 0 or null. Like this dot, I don't even know how you do this. Well, not easily. Because this will all still contain, actually no, this won't have anything in it. Yeah, this, no, it'll still return the 0 value of the enum. Hey, Broken Crown. Yeah, in fact, let's go to a C# playground thing and not be testing this within the game. All right, so let's go get quest ID here. Is this even valid? Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, so we want to include link. Can I like hide some of this stuff? Can you full screen this? There's a, I'm just gonna delete this from the page. Sponsor. And that was just in a container in there. Oh, we can't delete that. Whatever. All right. So if you have a quest ID question mark, quest ID equals, I want an empty set, find, or no, first or default, which I guess we can't do it that way. We try to make like a new list of quest ID, first or default, and then print that. List could not be found. Where does list exist? How do you... Is there no autocomplete thing here? I think it's this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this doesn't work. Okay, well, that confirms it. Oh yeah, I never really think about that, Ski. Yeah, just use the eyedropper thing. All right, I gotta write this down in my C# notes because I don't think this is obvious. Do I even have a, I don't even have a troubleshooting section. Well, we're about to have one. Troubleshooting using link with enums. Okay, let's copy paste all of this. Hey, Miyazaki. All right, we don't need this stuff. I'm gonna call this example. We don't need that boilerplate. All right, so public enum, like my enum, or fruits or whatever. Let's just say fruits, apple, banana, banana. I don't know why that's that funny. All right, then main. So we're gonna make a fruits, I guess, fruit equals new list of fruits. And then this will always print apple. Can't remember, unless you said the default to null. I think it's the default of the type. Is that possible? Provide default for first or default. Default value other than null? No, it always returns the default for the type. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Demulix. Okay, so consider this code. So the issue is that, well, the issue is, we can't go to that, but first or default, yeah, this. It says, it returns the default if the source is empty. The default for an enumeration is the 0 value of that enumeration, which in this case is Apple. If you want, I say i.e. fruit will never be null. Well, fruit dot has value will always be true. Yeah, if you want, I guess your two main options are consider, like, make fruit dot none a value, be the first value, and check for that, or don't use link to, or yeah, it's not really don't use link, but it's check for the value, or like write your own version of find or first or default. Hey Goose. Oh man, what a sucky thing to get stuck on for a while. It doesn't work on Mac. High reload setting in that the setting is marked experimental might be why it doesn't work. Interesting. Thank you for looking into that. C# installed. I guess we could just do this. C# dev kit. There. When hot reload is available. Experimental enables it while debugging. Not synced. Let's, oh, not synced means not synced as a setting. I see. All right, let's try that. I don't know if this would work. Also, how do we even test this? Guess we just run the code and then, I don't know. Is there a reason not to do that? I just haven't needed it until now. So now I want to find out, is the reason I didn't need it because I never ran into this situation? Or did I write erroneous code? And then should I use it now? So that's what I'm thinking about. Hot reloading the code. This is apparently and is experimental. An experimental feature in C# dev kit for VS Code. Yeah, I'll just write that as a note to myself for later. Try out hot reloading with Godot through C# dev kit. May not work on Mac OS. Yeah, for now, I'm not going to worry about that. In fact, let's probably turn that off so I don't confuse myself and think that I have it. You apparently can't search for it that way. Yeah, there. Hey, Skididdy. It's going well. I have gotten stuck on something that was supposed to just be a small speed bump. But hey, I got notes on it now. Take care, Caleb. Have a good rest of your day. You only bought cake ingredients, apparently, and not regular groceries. All right. So how do we check if I've done this anywhere else? I guess we only have a few different cases where this might have been done. Like ability ID question mark. We don't have that. Okay. Item ID question mark. We don't have that. Enemy ID question mark. What other enums do we have? I guess we have a bunch of them. Yeah, well, let's do this. Let's search for all of these and then do this and then put this here and then put question marks at the end of all of these and then search for all of those things. We searched for this, this. Yeah, I just want to search for all the rest of these. That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. That doesn't. So yeah, I guess we just never ran into this. I don't think there's any erroneous code right now. Nope. So far, everything's fine. Then again, we could have, oh, yep, here we go. Item display might not have an item category. Item category is just an enumeration. We check here, but you can pass in null. So this is technically not a problem. Yeah. All right, so item category, we'll just put a star next to that for now. Quest ID, I'm trying to use. That's the, I guess, the current one. Nudge type doesn't matter. Yeah, no, that's it. Just these two. Yeah, I think we'll put in none as a type for this. If you drive fast enough, there's no speed bump. Yeah, you just launch yourself into space, fly right off a Rainbow Road. Andor. Yeah, I think we're gonna need to change this. Okay, well, let's write it down as a thing. Can't believe this. Clean up. Stop using. I guess I'll just write it this way: a new question mark. The only other place besides quests was item category. I search for everything. Yeah, it's a speedrun strat. Not when you're playing casually. The slow run strat then. Okay, well, we just put in none here. Problem is, this is going to cause us to do some weird stuff. Like, we have all quest data validates to see that you manifested data for every single quest. And I guess we're going to need to not check for the none key here. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to do. We just check to see if it's the value 0. But we could also just manifest some fake data for that. I could just literally write none here for now. All right, well, let's try this out. This has been a dumb time. I wonder what people say about this stuff. All right, so now we could put this back to the way we wanted it originally, which is just return whatever this thing tells us we want to do. Delete this. There. Great, there's that code. So now this will return none. Why is that yellow? Oh, that's just a broken thing. Yeah, I know. I think I'm adding pressure to myself because, like I said, July 26th is when I want to launch the next version of this. And we needed to make quite a lot of progress every single day. And so far, we have stubbed all 10 of our toes. So we're going to unstub them, get back into a good mental state, and also probably take a break pretty soon. Yeah, so now get next quest doesn't check to see if this is null. This checks to see if it's none. So get quest ID. We'll just do that. Get rid of that. And then check here if next quest ID equals quest ID.none. Then throw a new error. Yeah. Delete this. We somehow don't need this. Oh, because I see. All right. There we go. Let's try that out. Yeah, thankfully there's not much cleanup we have to do unless we change how we validate stuff. And actually, that's probably worth writing here. The only other place besides quest is item category. However, we may want to manifest none for every enum now, which would probably mean changing the validator. Perhaps it should even ensure that the 0 value is named none. None your business. Isn't none only used when you do flags on enums? Oh, flags like bitwise flags? I don't know what flags as an attribute does. Does it make everything bitwise? Yeah. No, I don't think we should use flags for this. Could you just check is defined? No, here's the playground that shows this thing off. In fact, let me simplify this down to the other code that I had written. C#. If I just copy paste this in, this should be the easiest possible explanation. Whoa. All right, can you format this, tidy up? Wow, look at that. Yeah, so here's the problem. If I share this, why is this a different link than what's in the address bar? I guess because one of these is saved and one... What? Does that button work? Yeah, there we go. I mean, do you need it if you don't use flags? I'm not sure what you mean exactly. I guess this represents the problem that I was having here, which is it looks like from the code that fruit here could have a null value. But because of how first or default works, even though it's searching an empty list, it'll always get the value apple because that's the default value of an enumeration. So this thing about flags shouldn't change this behavior. Well, flags might actually require that the first one be the 1 value, which I'm not sure what would happen if then you try returning the default. Maybe it's just the first one in an enum. In fact, let's look that up. C# enum default. I would assume it's just the first one. What's the default for an enum variable? Whatever member of the enumeration represents a value 0. So what if none of them are 0? It's not always the case that 0 is represented by the first member. If none correspond to 0. Oh, interesting. Okay, so you could just start all of your values at 1. I guess what's weird about that is that then you need to cast when you're checking. Where's the example here? Yeah, so here, none doesn't have to exist. We'd have to check 0, and you can't. Oh, wait, you can do that? Okay, that's interesting. I thought you'd have to cast, and I was like, it's probably just more ergonomic to use none. But maybe it isn't. No, it probably is. And then we just validate that there's, yeah. I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to put a none in everything. All right, did I test this? I don't think I actually tested it. It should just say there's an error here. Get rid of this. Get rid of, yeah. Sequence contains no matching element. What? That's not what I was expecting. Oh, because this is first. I meant to write find. Yeah, whoops. In this case, it's better to use none. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to use none, but you could just check the 0 value. But then the problem is you need to make sure you never use the 0 value. Where is quest ID? Yeah, so if we deleted this and then we wrote out this equals 1, then now all of these values are going to be positive integers, which means that when you can't find something, it will set it to 0, which will not have a name associated with it. And like I said, if you were careful about your code, I guess you could just, you could use that property of this, but I think, we'll just define none. All right, get rid of this breakpoint. It should throw an error now, but not actually break into the debugger. Yep, no quests available. All right, now let's test this from the beginning. Do you need to exit Godot every time using C#? Yeah, apparently on Mac you do for now, but maybe eventually the C# dev kit extension for VS Code will eventually allow for hot reloading. We could use none as the last case where there are no more quests, but you need to keep filtering it out. Oh, because you're saying it's going to return none as an available quest. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Wait. No, it won't in this case. Yeah, it won't in this case because we're only trying to find the quests that are possible. Yeah, I guess that's the problem from having none there, is that we need a bunch of special logic for it. In this case is Apple. But if that weren't defined, it would literally be the value 0. Your main options are check to see if the literal value 0 is returned, or manifest fruit dot none equals 0. Yeah, I'll put this back to your two main options. All right, so cases where this would be a problem is pretty much anywhere we use enum.values, which is, why is that not finding it? Is it not? Oh, it's enum.getValues. All right, which is in a lot of spots. Yeah, like here, if we had a none thing here, then we'd add none to your defeated instances. Granted, this is a debug function, so I'm not too concerned about that. What else do we have? Go through every instance. Yeah, we need some check to see if it's null. Oh. Okay, I have a different idea then. Yeah. What if we manifest, we get rid of none here. We start all these things at least 1, and then our validator add a member that has a value of 0 with a suggested name of none. Oh, it even suggests that you do this. Okay, well, if it suggests that you do that. Yeah, it's nice, Magma Salad. You can go back to VS Code if you want. Spend about a week making a system and allow hot reload while playing every hour spent on it was worth it because it makes iteration insanely fast. Yeah, I think hot loading is important. I don't think it's important enough for you to make a custom system for it. And eventually it should just work, I'm hoping. Yeah. Hey, Freak Technic, I guess. Thanks for resubbing. Oh, what note-taking app is that? That's Obsidian. Putting 1 in the first would still return a quest ID. It would just not equal anything there. Yes, exactly. It would return a quest ID, and you would just need to check explicitly for the value 0. So if I said apple equals 1, this line of code will, like, fruit equals 0 will be true. So I was thinking, okay, I could exploit this fact and I could just make sure that the enum doesn't contain a 0 value. But when I went to do that, the linter complained that if I set this to 1, hey, you should just have a none value in here. So if that's what we're expecting, then fine. And then everywhere that we manifest this, we would need to, like this, for example, go through each instance ID. We would need to check that it's not none. And it just kind of sucks that every time you iterate over something, then you're going to need to check for some like fake value. Wouldn't a nullable field be better suited? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That nullable field doesn't work because of, take a look at this fiddle. Not with link at least, because with link, it's always going to return the default value of the enum, which is always going to be the 0 value. So this will never be null here. Did it change that much, or do you have a custom theme? I don't think I have a custom theme. Yeah, and I don't use any plugins, so it might be that it changed a lot. Yeah. I am tempted to just ignore that linter value or the linter analyzer thing. Find a return null, yeah. Or use JavaScript. Then it should be a list fruit question mark. Oh, wait. Oh. Yeah, I guess you're right about that, right? Then this could return null. Aha. I guess it doesn't print anything in that case. Interesting. Yeah, also, I did a whole thing on ditching OneNote. And I have a video there for that. Oh, man. I'm so in the weeds right now. Your options are this. Change apple to be apple equals 1 and explicitly check for the 0 value on fruit, or explicitly check for, I guess, fruit equals 0. Another would be change new list fruit to new list fruit question mark. Yeah, I guess the problem in my actual code that we have here is, where is this thing? Yeah, get next quest. Is that we were checking a list of quest IDs, and it's not always going to be obvious that we're like, oh, actually, these are nullable quest IDs, because then we need to also change this value, and it's like we're never going to use the nullable property of it. So yeah, again, I know I'm kind of bouncing all over the place here, but now what I'm leaning toward is just use the explicit 0 and make sure our enums all start at 1. And I feel like that's better, so that then you could do enum.getValues and not get some fake value in there. Yeah. Otherwise, you need to write something that's like enum.get non-fake values, which I guess isn't that hard to do, that just returns everything other than none. I would just make a first or null extension. Oh man. I worry that if I ever forget that I need that I'll have first or default and be like, yep, this code looks good. Whereas if I explicitly manifest a 0 value, then we know that that exists. There'd be no confusing that. And if I test explicitly for 0, I just feel like that's a hack. I need to turn off an analyzer. I'm so torn. All right, I should take a break. I really should. Let me write this down as like where we left off here, because I think we could get everything working, and this just turned out to be longer than I thought. So where I left off, figuring out what I want to do about 0 enum values. Should I make first or null, use the explicit 0, manifest none everywhere, or did I even have another option? No, that's it. This probably isn't a great option, because you'd realistically have to change practically every type in the call stack to get to whichever function you're writing. Is it jump time? I'll be back. It's jump time. Hey Rust, this is Obsidian, yeah. I've got a link to it here. And for anyone who wants to play this and has never seen this, just type join in chat and then J and a number and you'll jump. The goal is to get as high up in the world as you can. I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back in a few minutes. See ya. Hey again, everybody. Close the game. Okay, so I think we're gonna go with Blub's suggestion. So we have a list extension already, and we're gonna just make a first or null public static t question mark. It's not a t question mark though, right? No, I guess it is a t question mark. First or null. All right, this I read only list, and then a predicate. First or null t. Okay, I mean, that's it. Could be a non-nullable value type. Consider using default t. Wait, that's not even, you can't even do this. What? Yeah, this is a corn keyboard. How would you do this? Yeah, because there's no guarantee this could be null. I wonder if someone else has done this. First or null extension. Yeah, I don't know if it's possible. Yeah. Can you do t colon enum? You could, but then it won't be nullable still. I think this has to be capitalized. Yeah. Non-nullable. Exploit nullable quest ID seems a little hackish. That's what a quest ID question mark is a nullable quest ID. You have to use like an unwrap type with a maybe or similar. Yeah, I think we're just gonna go with the none route. Yeah. And then where we use this. Yeah, so this I don't want to have to do. And I think we'll just go change the validator now. But we need every single enumeration to have a none value. Oh, man. What a shame. Yeah. If it doesn't contain the key and the key is not equal to 0. I guess we could say default T key. Not equal cannot be applied to operands of type T key and T key. Oh, you can't do that? Like a dot equals? We can maybe do that. Okay, so this will make sure that we're not checking for the default. But then we need another thing here, which is ensure that the enumeration has a none value. If it doesn't contain a default, and or if the name of the default is not none. What is the problem here? Possible null reference. Oh, you can use default the whole time? Could I have done this here? Oh, I could. Why is this a problem? Because this has to take in a T key. How do we fix this? Huh. I mean, I guess we just say 0. We know that it's. Can you cast this to? You can't. Okay, fine. Yeah, I don't know what to do about this. We don't know that this is going to exist here. Although I guess if it throws an exception, it throws an exception, and we should hopefully get some information about that. But there's that, and then also we need to check enum.get names. We want to, is there like a way to get a value by its name? C# enum get value by name variable. There's a parse. So I can just do enum.parse none. Yeah. Enum.parse. Okay, so if this, what does parse return if you don't have try parse? That's what. So try parse needs an out value, out t key none value. Does not exist. We need the thing. Okay. And must be a non-nullable value type in order to use it as a parameter. Those two. I don't know. Is there like a, I guess parse returns or throws an exception if it doesn't exist, right? That's really all I want. Although I guess I want it with a proper error message. Let's try this, I guess. So this is going to fail immediately. It's going to say that it can't find a none key for like all of my enumerations. What's it say here? Requested value none was not found, but we don't know what this is validating. It's abilities. I'd like it to print what doesn't have it. There's got to be a way to get this try parse to work. Could we do, no, we can't do that. Try catch throwing an exception. Yeah, of course. I am really not thinking clearly. So I appreciate this. All right. Catch. What is the exception? Argument exception. Oh, I guess I don't really care about this. And then throw new exception. Enumeration must have a none value. So the enumeration, can we get the name of the enumeration here? Dictionary, T key. I don't know what this is going to show. Maybe. No, you can't do that. It's a type which is not valid. Can I two-string this? I know it would have been two-string by default. C# get name of generic. I'll get the type name of a generic type argument. Type of t dot full name. Type of t key dot full name. Oh, okay, cool. All right, must have a none value. I don't care about the E here, although I guess if we don't use it, then we're going to run into a problem. Yeah, this is performance irrelevant. Also, I mean, even if this does run in a final build of the game, this would run once at runtime at the very beginning. So you could kind of see it as like a, 1 millisecond load overhead. I'm sorry, but that only works during Jump Royale. Unfortunately, it doesn't bank it or anything. I'll eventually refund the points for it. Okay, I think this should work. I don't think just because I use a split keyboard, it makes me a better programmer or anything. In fact, this tanked my productivity for quite a long time. Oh, Joss, redeeming those points. Okay, so this should give us a better error value now. It should also complain about ability or ability ID. Right? Did it? Game source abilities base ability ID must have a none value. Okay, cool. So now let's go into ability ID. And we're going to set a none value here. None equals 9999. This should be a mistake, because what we should do is we should figure out that there is a value here. This parses into an object. So what do we, var equals this or whatever? What is, how do we do this? Object. I want to see what this is. Let's just put a breakpoint there. And then, I don't know, GD print, whatever. It literally doesn't matter. I just need there to be a line here that I could use a breakpoint. It's the rule, okay. But I'm a better programmer. Sorry. If you provide in real life, well, it's a good thing you could access the command while dead. So what I want to see is, can we check that this is 0? Is that possible? And we're about to find out. Because that's what we want. We want there none to exist and for it to always be set to 0. Parsed is none, and we can int it in order to get 0. 999. Yeah. That's what I want. All right, cool. Oh. I think we could have said this is a T key, but then we wouldn't be able to cast it. I guess objects is fine. All right, so check that, and then if int parsed is... I don't know what just happened there. If parsed is not equal to 0, then the none value of this must be 0. And then technically, that's the entirety of the check we need, and this isn't needed anymore to see if the dictionary contains that. No, wait, no, we do need this. This is just checking the enumeration, which is a different validation than what the dictionary is doing here. All right, so the none value needs to be there. It must have a none value, and then the dictionary must not contain a value for the none key. Yes, and now we know this exists. Okay, I think that's everything. Let's try that out. So this is going to complain that none is 9999 and not 0. Although it should probably tell you that it's not 0. Or that it is 9999, I guess. Yeah, the none value of this must be 0, but is in parsed. Yeah, there we go. So now we go to ability ID. And we set this to 0. And then we add 1 to all of these. And this is where we can do something cool. So we actually set this to -1. And then check this out. We do this plus... actually, I guess we could just say +1 to all of them. Never mind. That was less interesting than I thought. There. Okay, so now they've all been incremented by 1. And we have a none equal to 0. We need to do this everywhere, though. So let's go do it everywhere. None equals 0. For this one, it's easy enough to just do it this way. We don't need anything too crazy. 1 equals 1, 2. I'm going to copy this everywhere. Yeah. Equals 1 plus read. This is stupid and is pretty much just showing off at this point. There we go. So dumb. All right. Yeah. We're getting there. +1. Yeah, I gotta do this everywhere. I really need to validate that all of these things are have this property on them, and not just when we validate dictionaries, but we should validate enumerations. Let me just do it this way. +1. All right, we're almost done. I know this is tedious. Oh my God, there's so many enumerations in the game. 1, 2, 3. How many more of these do we have? Like 6? Oh man. Okay, this one is technically fine. Actually, we don't need the other. Yeah, we do. Do need other values here. 1 plus prev. That was weird. There. None. This already existed? What? What did I use this one for? Wow, I must have run into this problem before already. Well, now there's no issue. And I guess this is already set to 0. These never get saved, so it's not really a big deal. Yeah. Thank you, boy. Got the 6-column corn after watching a stream a few weeks ago, and I love it. Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. C# can use try new example object like in Java. I've never seen that syntax before of try and then immediately parentheses like that. Maybe there's an equivalent. I don't know. The amount of tab there's no buffer in what I think is VS Code. The amount of tabs there's no buffer in. I'm not sure what you mean by that either, but you mean, oh, like this sort of thing where I have untitled ones? Yeah, because I'm not totally sure what you're referring to. This is VS Code or C# thing for the magic, including prev. That is a VS Code extension called VS Code eval. If you take a look at the, thank you, Juicebox Hero. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, thanks for resubbing. I had a good time in the interview on Friday, and I got to put that online at some point. Yeah, the calculating stuff. So if I do something like this, it's just for good math expressions. You can also run arbitrary JavaScript. So as an example, you could do something like this, repeat 80. And since it's just JavaScript, you could do anything else you have in JavaScript. So like the minimum of 1, 5, and 9 is 1. Staff abusing power. No, I'm not going to force the game right now. If you give it a specific value, the following will automatically be numbered. Yes, that's true. But because this is a game and we're going to be saving a lot of these things, it's very important that we make sure anything that gets saved has explicit numbers so that you don't accidentally add in another quest here and then just put a comma. You would have changed all these other values, which would invalidate save files. So that's why we give explicit values to everything. We didn't need to do it for this because this never gets saved. But in the future, maybe it gets saved. So like, I just want to be safe about that. Yeah, same thing here. These are probably not needed. This is almost certainly going to break like everything that I do. So fun. So fun. 3 and 4. Like I said, probably not going to get saved. 2, 3. I don't know if you can do alert, actually. It only exposes some things from JavaScript. Hey, we did it. Okay, I think we're good. Now, this probably broke some code, and anywhere that we do enum.get values almost certainly needs to be updated. Should be a % sign. Would be pretty unhinged to have coded. Yeah. VS Code eval is amazing. I've used it for a ton of stuff, and especially when you combine it with multiple cursors. I mean, you saw the practically ideal use case for it when I modified ability ID. This is something where I changed every single one of these values to be the value +1. And like I could have done anything, right? I could have multiplied them by 3 so that I could add in 2 more in between. Yeah, if you're using it outside, almost mandatory. Yep. All right, what was I going to do? I was going to search through all of these things. So instance ID, we can't, well, technically we could do this. We could add the 0 value to the defeated ones, and it wouldn't really have any impact, but it's probably going to cause some oddities in the future. So let's just say if instance ID equals the none value, then just continue. Yeah. Seems like you can use quotes. Oh, you were talking about empty buffers? Yeah, I tend to close those after a while, and I just hadn't. So say goodbye to all the empty buffers. Instead of try catch, yeah. All right, there we go. All right, now what's this? Has completed prerequisites, and just continue. Yeah, technically there are no prerequisites for the none instance. So we try get value, and then this returns none. I mean, I think that's fine. Let's just try this out. This is get all adventurer classes. and then go through current adventurers and remove, what is this doing? Get adventurer classes available for hire. Oh, I see. Yeah. I want all of these except for the none class. This is so dumb. Yeah, really dumb. All right, what do we have here now? Set up abilities. Go through each ability that exists and set its derived type. I mean, I guess technically we could do just accept. Accept is it takes a predicate. No, it doesn't take a predicate. Is that correct? Huh. This is at least slightly nicer, I guess. Assuming this works. You should use where here and check that it's not equal to none. Isn't this more succinct though? If I want to start learning game dev, would C# be a good point to build on? I think so, yeah. There are, if you know JavaScript, there are HTML5 game engines like Phaser out there. But still, I think one of the best ways to learn is just like go download Godot or Unity or Unreal, use their main language, which really only means for Unreal, I think use C++ or Blueprints, otherwise C#. And then just get started trying to do some stuff. And in that process, you might learn, oh, I hate C++ or I hate Blueprints or I hate C# or I don't like this game engine, in which case, switch to something else. But that way you're not investing too much in learning C# for something you don't know you're going to enjoy. And I think too, that when you make a game, you come up with small problems along the way for yourself, which will also motivate your learning. No. Unreal doesn't use C# as far as I know. Yeah. That's why I was saying this. The otherwise C# was talking about Godot and Unity. Yeah, this is. Sorry, that wasn't clear. How do you take criticism when you try to improve on code, put hard work, and then it's all a void because there's nothing, the implementation isn't good? I think this is a very glass half empty way of looking at things. So think about this. Learning to code is a very long-term project, you could kind of say. So there are all these things out there that say learn to code in 30 days or whatever. And sure, you can learn syntax, you can learn the basics of logic and stuff. But then writing maintainable software, following conventions, using proper patterns, etc. Like all of that stuff is going to take you much longer than the 30 days would. So every time you get feedback, I think the first thing to do is figure out, do you even agree with the feedback? Because sometimes it could just be opinion based, right? Like, hey, maybe you should name your variables this way. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't, but do you even agree with it? And then I think as much as possible, there's this quote I heard a long time ago, be curious, not defensive. I think it's easy when someone gives you feedback on anything to be like, well, here's why they're wrong, or here's what I was thinking. And I mean, I used to do this too. And even when it came to Botland that I was working on for years, I was like, well, here's what I imagine. And it's like, it doesn't matter. When someone gives you feedback, there's some nugget of truth or some way that you're being perceived that you're unable to see or unable to have come to terms with enough to have fixed, let's say. So I think not being defensive, trying to recognize that every time you make a mistake is an opportunity to learn, and that it's a mistake you ideally won't make in the future, and that this is how you improve, is with feedback. So there's this other kind of concept I have in my head, which is like, be proud to admit that you're wrong about something. It's not really a quote. I don't know why I wrote it as a quote, but this is something I try to live by, which is like a lot of people are afraid to say they're wrong. And I think by admitting you're wrong, you can quickly move past the being wrong into now what do we do about it? So I think it's the same with feedback. Like recognize that you don't know everything and that other people will be able to cover your blind spots. And yeah, so in your case, okay, if you admit that you were wrong, then now do you see how their feedback could work? And then there are two cases that I think you should focus on after that, which is like, how do I incorporate the feedback? This is really easy for code reviews usually, because usually they just literally tell you, oh, hey, make a function like this, or redesign that thing. And then the other is, how do I avoid this in the future? And I think that can be a little harder. I rely on notes pretty heavily for that. But yeah, I think even asking that question of what do I do about feedback, I think is a good one to be asking QBoy. So kudos to you. I think to avoid it, I have to communicate more. Yeah, and I don't know the specific thing we're talking about here, but I think communication can help. I think part of it too is, everybody makes little mistakes here and there. And let's say someone is like, don't forget to update documentation or something like that when you modify this. Let's say you get this piece of feedback twice. You probably shouldn't get it the third time, right? This is like a mechanical thing that you should just be like, oh yeah, it's that case I'm in. But like I said, everyone makes mistakes. So yeah, as long as you're not getting the same feedback over and over and over, then means you're improving. I always say when I look back to me from 3 or 5 or 10 years ago, I'm like, what an idiot. And like I said, that's the glass half empty way of thinking, oh, I've gotten better. I've grown as a person. It's forcing evaluation of a whole enumerable, but in general, where is the way? Yeah. All right, I'll do that. Yeah, thank you, ABC. Yeah, did I miss anything else in chat? Could you override get values to not include none or extend get valid values? Not sure how many calls you're going to have. I think that would be a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. Now I need a predicate. Yeah. I hadn't finished changing the code. I just, this would be like a not equal to none. Yeah. Yeah, perhaps we should do something like that. I guess the problem is that, well, actually, if get values, does this return a list? It returns an array. So actually the first value should always be the default, although we can't rely on that. But we could do a constant time check to see if that's the case, and then if not, do an O of n check over it. But that's talking about premature optimization. So I think what we should do is we should write down that at some point in the future, we should make a get like enum dot get valid values extension. It should just do get values, but remove none. Maybe it could even check if the first value is none, knowing that it has to exist somewhere. And I'm going to copy paste in what ABC said. This is except versus where. Okay. So let's finish where we left off here. So go through each one of these instance IDs, like give value dot where a is not equal to none. Did it delete what I was doing? What is going on? Isn't array doesn't contain a definition for where? How did I do this in the other spot? Give values type of instance ID. Why is this that way? It should just be instance ID, right? I am very confused as to what's different about these two things. Oh, now it suggests link. I know that comes from link. It didn't suggest it earlier, though. Oh, whatever. Let's move on. Where was that one? Yeah, there. All right, what is this now? Grant items, just granted items from all the different instances, but they have to be valid instances. So dot where can it know what I want? I not equal to instance ID dot none. Yeah. Plus cannot be applied to. Okay, I probably just messed up parentheses somewhere. Instance ID, valid instance IDs. Yeah, so I want this. Oh, this is actually, I don't know what's causing this problem, but I have a key on my keyboard that types out an equal sign. And that might sound obvious, but it's actually not how it normally works. The way you normally do this is like shift and plus. But this is coded in QMK to be like this. And the problem that I have is if I, how does this work? Yeah, if for whatever reason, if I type these two characters fast enough, it sometimes types out a plus. So that's why that happened. I actually pressed the right keys on my keyboard, but something's messing up. Yeah. I haven't ever figured that out. And I mean, maybe I just need to update the firmware. But the thing I'm talking about is, oh no, it actually is an equal sign. Oh wait, sorry, I said that backwards. Yeah. The other way around. But still, whatever. The problem happens because of the keyboard. Speed nerf. I do less damage with this keyboard. All right, instance ID. I mean, this is the same general thing, except for that we could put the where clause in here. Yeah, and then delete everything we put here. Braces should not be omitted. And same thing with this. All right, that's everything, right? I'm just going to change this to a where clause everywhere so that I don't need to keep doing this. Yeah, so now we should only have where clauses. Hopefully we never do anything else with instance values or what's this? Well, that's a problem. A not equal to none. Now that's an enumerable, so this would need to be count. Like that, drop where and move the condition into count. That's going to break everything if I do that. I should just make this extension method now. Oh yeah, I never updated the today command, my bad. Adam is working on the quest system for Skeleseller. He hopes to launch checkpoint number 2 of the game on July 26th. Yeah. Telling work it's Friday. TGIF. What do you mean, Nuka? Yeah, we should just do this now. All right. Do we have any extensions for enumeration? Is this even easy to write? Enum extensions. I don't know how you even do this. No, we don't need that. Public static. What are we going to call this? Get valid values. And this returns a T array. And it takes in a, I don't know how you do this, C# extension. On Monday, you get notice if you got the house? You mean a week from today? Ooh, good luck. Duration extensions. Can I just add one for all enumerations? You probably can. I don't want to spend the time even thinking about this. How to create a new method for enumeration. C# enum extend all enums. Enumerable. That's not the same as an enumeration. This isn't what I want. I want extension. Here we go. One possible improvement where T:, yeah, okay. All right, let's just copy paste this. 3 contestants, I want them up, so 33% chance. Is that how it works? Because in the US, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do to try to swing that process by like waiving inspections and stuff. And basically just doing a bunch of stuff that could shoot yourself in the foot. All right, I guess let's copy this. T:, enum. So this is a T enum. We can't call it that, I guess. It needs to be just E. And then I'll copy this in there, although we might not want this line of code. Yeah, sure. Throw if it doesn't exist. I can't imagine that's going to matter because you can't call a function on something if it doesn't exist. And it's an extension method, right? No, but it's an extension on the class. Something like that. All right, so what are we doing here? We are going to get return enum.getValues t.where v is not equal to the default. But then we need to do that to array on it. Or we could have this return an IEnumerable. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's what you were suggesting, Arija? Because, yeah, this way we don't need to assume anything about... what is the... Yeah. All right, type T must be non-nullable in order to use as a parameter. Must be non-nullable. I don't know what made this think it was nullable. T enum in the generic type. What? T enum. Okay, I'm not sure about that. Every other part of this is fine. Where we don't have link here. Parameter T enum in generic type or method get values T enum. Colon struct comma enum. Would I just need to do that same thing? Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, I need to use the generic form of that. No, wait. We have a couple different problems, right? So getValues returns an array, which we then pass into where, which gives us an IEnumerable T. But the T here is actually... Oh, wait. Missing namespace? Namespace of IEnumerable? No, it's there. I can't... Non-generic type? What else could this possibly return? Oh, it needs to be dot generic? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, I didn't realize. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now that we have get valid values, we need to go undo all of these things that I did. And then delete this. Enum does not contain a definition for this. So this is instance ID that contains a definition for this, right? No, that's still not the case. Do you need to register extensions? How do we use sample, for example? We just import it, right? Is extensions here? Game.source.extensions. Yeah. So what if we using game.source.extensions? Where does this thing exist? What did I even write this into? Man, I am just... I don't even know what I'm doing today. Using game.source.extensions. All right, now it thinks that's unnecessary, but we're gonna find out what we were supposed to do here. Is enum... I didn't get this here. Yeah, so that means I messed up the extension. Is T where T colon struct comma enum. I'm not sure. I need to import that explicit extension. Could I have done this? Oh, it's on... Well, I thought the whole point of extensions is I didn't need to do it this way. Does that work? There is no argument given that corresponds to parameter E. Yeah. So this needs to be... Oh, wait. The T of this thing, it shouldn't take in a parameter, right? Like that? Yes. Woo. Okay, so I think we could now do instance ID.get. No, wait, we can't do that. And we can't do get valid values of, no, yeah. So it's got to be like this. I mean, I'm okay with this, but I wonder if I did that correctly. Let's take a look at this now. So this is going to be, what do we have on the last one? enum.get values instance ID. No, that's not right. Oh, it deleted it because I wrote it out the right way. Yeah. Okay. Now it's just a static method, not an extension. Yeah, that's true. Oh man, I am all over the place. All right, so how do we get this to work the way I want it to? Yeah, this TE, where T is enumeration. So we should be able to call that on the instance ID thing, right? It's not on the type. Oh, there it is. Okay, I see. So now it's on a value of this. I want it to be on the class, I guess. Name does not exist in the current context. Yeah, there's no way to do that. I need to do something like this, which is super weird. To variables of type enum. Yeah, so how do I get it to apply to the enumeration class? Honestly, just make it static at this point. Yeah, I was trying to access on the type, but I want to access it on the type, but I guess that's not what an extension method is. Because, yeah, we always access it on an instance. T:(I) convertible. Would that let me do what I'm thinking here? But it would need to also be an enum, right? Yeah, extensions only apply to instances. Okay, well then I guess let's just make it a static function. I don't have that code anymore, but this was what? Struct, comma, enum. And this doesn't take in a thing anymore. Yeah. Yeah, what I wanted to be able to do is instance ID dot get valid values, which I guess technically I could do by just putting it into the enum, but I'm not going to do that. So now what we could do is enum extensions, and I probably shouldn't call this extensions. Instance ID there. All right, let's go apply this to everything. Now we don't need the where. So we also don't need link. There we go. Can't really do what you want in the current version of C#. Well, anyway, thank you everyone for the help. I do appreciate it. There are days where I feel like I'm just not sort of thinking clearly. I know this sounds probably like an excuse if you're a new viewer here, like, oh, he probably says it every day. But no, some days they just genuinely go fine. Everything's okay. There's no like major problems. Today's just not one of those days, I guess. I think I did apply maybe too much pressure to myself to get this stuff done in time. And who knows, maybe it won't take as long as I think it will. This might be a mistake for me to do this for this long too. Maybe I should, what was I just thinking? Oh man. Oh yeah, that I'm gonna rename this. Never mind. All right, this is instance ID. Again, we have a 2 array here, but that's so that we can sample these. This doesn't actually need to be an array, right? It needs to be a list. Oh, I put sample also on array. I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah. Plus, this is a debug function. Okay. What is this? This is getting on adventurer class. We don't need the where clause. We don't need, well, we do need count. Okay. What is this? All right. Here is the same general thing, but we won't be able to call this function the way that I want to because we can't use, wait, maybe we can? We have a generic here. Can we just do T key? No, this doesn't work. Non-nullable value type. Oh, here we'd have to say struct comma enum. And then this would work. All right. Now what's this? Found components is not equal to this. Yeah, this needs to be the same thing. So enum extension, get valid values, count. All right. Oh. Yeah, this happens almost every time I actually say this aloud. Do you say it as potato or potato? And I say potato. What am I working on? I'm working on a game called Skeleseller. There's a brief overview there. We're trying to make the quest system, but we're getting sidetracked by a lot of stuff. So when you upgrade a shop, which is no longer, what's going on right now? Oh yeah, I broke everything. Oh yeah, it's tomato actually. Thank you. I've been saying it wrong my whole life. I sure love those tomato French fries. How's that been going the past couple of weeks? Haven't been able to catch your streams in a while. It's been going really well. And I even did some stuff over the weekend, which as soon as I unbreak the game, I can show you. Hey, Vlad. Also, yes, hi, MPV. Let's see. So I want to move this out of enum extensions. Let's go write that down. Did I write that here? Yeah. Move enum extensions to a different location since it's not an extension. That's going to break everything I just did. Yeah. Okay, let's try running this. And then I can show you some of the changes that have happened in the last few weeks. Or maybe let's see what we even worked on. I don't know when you were last here. Oh, I could actually tell you when you were last here. I can tell you everything. You were last here on June 28th. Yeah. So since then, we added the cleric to the game. Worked on the save system, worked on the instant. Okay, yeah, I know what to show you. Yeah, so cleric, now when you... Oh, this is broken still. Oh no. Do I still have 999 somewhere? Specified argument was out of range of valid values. Ooh, that's no good. That's no good indeed. Unrecognized item category. Yeah, it's trying to probably get none here. Switch item category. That means something has an item category that's set to none, which means we'd never set this before. Oh, this is probably an initialization problem that I only just uncovered. Yeah, where do we do that? Well, let's go back to that thing. That's here. Customize shop appearance. Where do you get called from? I'm guessing ready. Yeah. And then what? You don't get called from init? But we don't know your item category yet? Where do we set that? Where do we set this? Oh, I think in the editor. Oh, so we probably do know this by now. Ooh, then this is a different problem. Oh, it probably broke. I think I know what happened. The town has shops somewhere. Where are you, shops? There. There. Is this? Yeah, it says none now. It's not drat. Okay, well, weapon, armor. That's not right. Potion. And then armor. Yeah, there we go. Wow, interesting. Interesting problem. All right, did it work? I think it's still broken. Well, let's see. What broke this time? Dictionary must not contain a value for the none key. What did this? Abilities. I didn't put a none key in there. All data validator line. All ability data. Yeah, here. And this comes from this line. If it doesn't contain the... Oh, wait. If it does contain it, it must not contain a okay, yeah, there. Let's try this. Unbreaking everything. Oh, what a day. What a day. I'm not like super bummed or anything. I don't know. Imagine you're late to something really, really important and you look down at your phone and it says like, oh, you can't arrive sooner than whatever, 15 minutes from now. You feel this like antsiness knowing that you're helpless in that situation and that, well, I guess I'm not totally helpless. I could just push the release date. But let's see how this week goes. All right, so here's what I was going to show is we now have the cleric in the game. So there they are. They've got this ability, resonant healing. So healing your party members causes damage to enemies. So that's like how their class is formed. And then we added in the save and load feature. So if I save this right now and I restart and then I go to load, it'll load all the same characters. It'll load all the items I had. It doesn't save quest progress yet. And then what was the other thing that changed? Oh yeah, the party chooser. Yeah, so this, if you click start battle, now instead of just immediately putting you into a battle, it lets you choose where you want to go and then what party you want to have. And then once you start the battle, it shows that now you can't have these in your party anymore because they're in battle and you could start a different one and go to a different location. So that's everything that's changed in the last, I guess, 2 weeks. And we're going to start working on quests. So the way quests work is that you... Ooh, that's not good. Oh, wait, is it? Is it? It's not saving this, right? That's impossible. No, yeah, it's not saving it. Why are there no quests? What could I have broken for that to not work? Oh, I know what I broke. I don't save that there are quests, and I loaded the game. Yeah, anyway, so quests, you'll... This is probably going to change the flow a little bit, but if I click accept a quest, it breaks. What's wrong? What is even the error message here? What am I typing? No quests available for this shop. Well, that's baloney. That's... Oh, that's why. Because I have it hard-coded to say that there are no quests available for this shop. Well, that's not so much baloney anymore. Oh, boy. Where do you join? I mean, like, how do you play the game? You could technically play it now, but I don't recommend doing that because it's been like 3 weeks of development time since the last checkpoint, and you'd be playing the last checkpoint. So all of your feedback will probably be the feedback that people already gave. But in a week and a half or so, the end of next week, so Friday, I hope that this will just be available on itch for you to try. And I really, I'm going to end up saying this probably like 100 times between now and then. I really need to set expectations. This is not complete. It's just a step closer in the direction we want to go. And the important thing is to get feedback along the way so we make sure we're still progressing in the right direction. The first checkpoint, we got a bunch of feedback. There were 46 responses to the survey that I sent out. So people said the game was fun or not fun. They said how they found out about this. They said where they want to play it. And I can't scroll down any further because you might see some personal information. But then people started saying things like, here's what I want to see. Here's what I want to improve. Here's what was tough for me to understand. And we took all that feedback and we made a whole bunch of tasks out of it. And even things like I'll show a picture of the original game. Well, original game, the first checkpoint, where is that? Skeleseller, there it is. Yeah, so in the original game, you had these buttons on the left side, start level 1 battle, start level 2 battle. This just randomly chose a party for you. So people were like, why is it doing that? I'm confused by that. And that's totally fair. So that's something that this UI fixes. Well, not when you only have one party member. But yeah, now you can clearly see what your party's going to be, customize it. You can choose where you're going. So little things like that have changed to the point where I think it's not quite a new game, but it'll hopefully feel different and we'll hopefully get different feedback. Did I even click accept quest? I don't know what I was doing. All right, let's try this again. So accept quest. Yes. So it says 1 axe. And now we find Gimli over here. Grab the axe. Nope, it did pick one up. I didn't see that. Yeah, so now we're done with that quest. Now we say accept a quest. We had the sword one. Now he say accept a quest, and it breaks because we don't have another quest, which is actually totally fine. That's supposed to happen for right now, as weird as that sounds. So we need to clean up the commit, and we need to do this. Clean up the commits. We have a couple of them. This list is gigantic. I need to take a break before that, though. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Is it jump time? Break. Why is that working? Is it jump time? It's jump time. Close the game. I saw what Ski said. There's a MIDI whatever thing here. This might be changing the pitch of everything. Raimu told me about this. If one of these things is set to the wrong... No, I think all this is correct. Yeah, I don't know. I would need to listen to the stream, I guess. Okay, so let's move enum extension somewhere else. Why is this thing complaining? What is this? Single line comment. This, I gotta just restart this. Where do we put this? Types, enums, probably in here. Yeah, probably in here. Okay, well, I don't think there's an easy way to have it move and update everything for me. Yeah, there's just a rewrite here. Getting a clip to see what's going on. Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know what would have happened. All right, so where did I say we want to move this to? Over here? Yeah. Let's put this here. And let's call this enum functions. And then let's rename this to... Actually, we could do it this way, right? Yeah. Enum functions. This shouldn't be too bad. Because it is just to find and replace. And then anywhere there is... What happened there? Namespace. Oh, yeah, namespace is wrong. We need to just copy this from... Oh, no. Where did I save this? Yeah, I saved this in the right spot. Wait, no, I didn't. What is going on? God. Yeah, that's me being silly. All right, this is correct. This is incorrect. We need to change that to whatever any of these other ones would be. Oh, I picked the one I couldn't have picked. Namespace, there we go. Put that in there. And then we need to fix this. Yeah. This is going to be wrong because this changed. Oh, but we can't just blanket replace it everywhere. Okay, fine. We'll do this one by one, I guess. There. Yeah. Now I just got to run a .NET format after all of this. Wait, it's... What happened to get valid values? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I see. It's doing some weird thing. I guess it's previewing the find and replace. Yeah, now I understand. Like I said, just out of it. That's somehow fine. Oh, because it was already including this for some other reason? Yeah. All right, only 3 more of these things. Clip sounds totally fine. Maybe your ears were pitching everything lower. This is how Ski is finding out that he's going into the 3.5 dimension. Since it's an extension in the sense that it was initially intended, could you have made a base class of nullable enum or something that had none equals 0 in a public method? Then extend all existing enums? The only thing I'm thinking about is that the way I originally wanted this to work is that it was a method on the class, which would mean it was static. So I need this nullable enum to have a get valid values. And the problem is that as a static function, it would need access to all of the other values in the enum, which I don't know how that would work exactly. It could potentially work, but yeah, it's probably not worth the refactor. At the end of the day, the way I think about it is this. You have the like underlying calls to functions. And in this case, no matter whether it's an extension versus a static function versus an instance function, it's going to pretty much be the same. You're going to push some variables onto the call stack and then jump to a certain address in memory and then start executing code there. And then you have, how does it look to the programmer? And it's like, it's just a function call. Like, sure, this is maybe slightly more verbose than if we just had, or not that, but wherever else. It's slightly more verbose than if we could have just done instance id.get valid values, but it's such a minor difference that it's just not worth it. Oh, and enum can't even have methods in C#? I didn't know that. Yeah, well then I guess that throws a lot of this out the window. Anyway, it's not worth probably changing this, even if it were possible. And even if it took like 15 minutes, it's just probably not worth it at that point. Yeah, corn keyword. Hey, Armadon. Programming hurts my head. I'm trying Game Maker and I can't even make a basic game. Well, I think it's important to figure out what are you struggling with there, because for some people, basic game could mean like CSGO, and for other people, basic game could mean Pong. So if you're struggling with Pong, it's like, well, there's paddle movement, there's the ball movement, and then there's like the game logic, or the match logic, I guess you'd say, which is like scoring, maybe a game loop. But that's about it for Pong, right? So if you're struggling here, it's like, okay, I'm struggling to get input to work, or I'm struggling to get the ball to render, or the score is going up by 2 instead of by 1. It's like those are concrete problems you could much more easily solve than like, oh, hey, I'm trying to get NPCs to walk around a corner and, act differently. Let's close out of some of these tabs. And now let's clean up the commits. Pong's not what you're referring to. Yeah. But I guess my point wasn't necessarily like what is the game? It's more what is the problem that you're running into? Because with a problem, you could figure out how to solve it. But with a vague, like, I just can't do this, it's like, well, you don't even know what you're addressing. Yeah, Alter Baby. I'm doing well. I'm off kilter today. Not really in terms of, how do I say this? I just feel like I'm coding worse than I normally would. I'm moving at a slower pace. But we're going to slowly check this stuff in. I guess there is one important thing I got to look at for this, which is, are we using the same enumeration? And in this case, we are. It's on instance ID. I should also probably like test some basic stuff in the game. This just added none. Everything else is the same. This is going to break save files, but nobody has a save file. So it doesn't really matter. And even there's another thing that I've got to say at some point, but like checkpoint number 2 is the first checkpoint that's going to have save files. Then for checkpoint number 3, we're going to just wipe out all saves because there's just no point, right? Like, should you be able to persist the data you had from what, 2 months ago? Like, yeah, maybe. But is it worth the effort? Probably not. So I think it's just going to pop up a dialog saying like, hey, you're trying to load from a save, but that save is version 1. So you can't do that. Sorry. And then that's it. When the game is launched, that will not be the case anymore. We will try to make migrations for save files and make sure that they properly migrate from version to version. This stuff needed to change too. Effect ID. Thankfully, there's some validations here that'll already check this stuff. Oh, there is one other thing we need to do, which is make sure enumerations are being validated. They're technically only validated as part of validating dictionaries. So nothing ensures that they have the none key. Yeah, we do all have those days. And I think there are days that are total washes. It's like being at a computer is frustrating or stressful. Those are days where I think it's worthwhile to stop. Today, I'm still making progress. It's just slow progress. So none of this stuff should be checked in. What happened here? This is making it so that fire swords drop. I guess we're going to need this at some point, so I'll keep that. Yeah, I'm using Godot. Yep. Usually use them as slugs instead of ints. So I have to add a new one at the start. I can just do none equals none, or is that bad practice? Oh, you're saying that instead of giving them integer values, you give them string values? That's totally fine. And it's all just a matter of preference. You don't gain anything over having int values though. Because at least in C# you can get the name of the this. The like enum value, I guess. So yeah, I don't think there's a reason to do that. Now, there could be a reason. Maybe you're saving or serializing data in a way that you're like, you don't want to keep looking up, oh, what does 2 mean again? So you just want to save it as the word dungeon, which even then you could write another layer on top of the enumeration that persists them with their proper names. But yeah, at that point, you might as well just have string values. But if you're not doing something like that, I don't think it's worthwhile. To me, that's more of like the language doesn't support enum, so let's do that. Which I recognize that C# supports string enumeration, so it's not the case here. Okay, this we're not checking in. We're trying to be careful not to check it. Oh, this is something that should be checked in on its own. I just never saved that. This is good. here. Yeah, good. Instance ID, yep. Yeah, lots of this stuff needs to be looked over. This we don't need yet. Do we need something here? This might break, but I'm checking into a new branch, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think this is going to try to find available quests and find the none quest and then totally break, but yeah, whatever. It's, like I said, it's in its own branch. And not even Dark will probably check this out until it's done. What is this? This is grant items. Yeah, technically this is needed. Okay. Not get adventurers that count is equal to get valid values of adventurers. So if you have all of them, yep. Cool. We're getting there. Oh yeah. Okay. So I gotta write a comment for this. It's all none values in the enumeration. Yeah. In your example, what did you do when you had to add none equals 0, but already had them defined to 37? I did manually rewrite them, but in this case, like, here's what this used to look like. I'll undo it and you'll see how I did this. So I just put -1 or +1, then selected all the instances and then evaluated them. So now it's like none never existed. I set these back to 0 to 35. So I did that in like 15 files. Yeah, sure. It didn't take super long, I guess. But that's a combination of multiple cursors and an extension called VS Code eval. Didn't know you could do that? Yeah, you generally can't. It's this that's letting you do this, the VS Code eval. Although technically, I will say you could leave the code like this with -1s here. That'd be really, really stupid though. Well, maybe you can't even do that in C#, but even if you could, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, you can do a lot of interesting stuff with that extension. So you can write 0, pre +1 and duplicate this a bunch of times, and then just evaluate all these selections, and you'll have a list of increasing non-negative integers. Yeah, well, if you're interested by that extension, take a look at some of the other ones I use, because, whoa, what is going on with Twitch chat? I typed VS Code in here, but I can't, whoa, what? It's like, never seen that before. I haven't used temporal. I'm not sure what that is. All right, well, I was trying to show you this command because there are some other extensions I use, things like being able to swap a word for its opposite. So true turns to false and top turns to bottom and left turns to right. That's also pretty nice. Okay, so we wrote the comment for that. That one's good. 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 Component validator. Yeah, okay. So add none value to all enums. This is because when I tried searching for quests that you haven't done, I was using Link's find method, but when it doesn't find anything, it returns the default value for the type, which in an enumerations case is always the value 0. Without a none value, that meant that we were getting a real quest ID. All right, so if we were to sum up the last, I don't know, hour and a half, it was maybe like 20 minutes of confusion about that property and maybe like 5 to 10 minutes of investigation, and then a whole lot of fixing, deciding on the fix and then fixing it. Yeah. And it's not bad. I mean, this is the process that happens for any problem you run into. There's some amount of just like being confused about the problem, working on the problem, fixing the problem, and those times can just be much shorter than that. And I don't want to sound like I'm hyper focusing on that. I think part of this is I'm just streaming my consciousness to the world right now. All right, so this can be checked in on its own. This is actually store the quest ID in the quest. I had intended to do this and just never did. That's all right. All right, so now we're back to where we wanted to be 2 hours ago, which is I can get which quests you've completed. I grant fire swords from there. We should probably change the instance data for good and not just temporarily. So get next quest. This is all the quest data. Here, technically, we're making a new dictionary every single time. This really shouldn't be there, or not like that at least. All quest data. Let's go store this here. The problem, and this is really obnoxious, I think you need to make an immutable dictionary technically, and just the syntax for this is ridiculous. For whatever reason, you can't just use new. You can't use the collection creation thing, the square brackets. And I don't want this to show up in my class. But I don't know what better way to do this. Because if you try making it a regular dictionary, like if I just, where's the class? Yeah, if I just take this and I put this into the class as a private static read only, it's going to say make this immutable. Yeah. Remove unused. Okay, well, I mean, that's a little different. Let's see. It doesn't complain? What? Why did it complain in this one? Oh my goodness. Because this is public? Maybe that's why. If I made this public, does that complain? Remove. Use an immutable collection. Yeah. Yeah, that's why. All right, well, it's totally fine to have this be private. And then we just use it down here. Yeah. Get next quest for category. All right. There's one tiny thing I'd like to do, which I guess I can't do. Why did I use a static constructor here? Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Get next quest. Yeah, this looks good. All right, now what happens in the shop? We set the current quest you're working on. Sounds good. Shopkeep, what changed here? Yeah, a lot changed here. I think shopkeep is going to look drastically different when we're done with all of this. So what do we used to do? Actually, the whole dialogue system is probably going to need to change. Oh, man. No quests available. I mean, this threw this as a floating text. I guess we might as well do that. And then just return. Yeah. All right, so dialogue stuff. We use the quest dialog box here. Do we need the dialog box anymore? I guess we do for now. Is this used anywhere? No. All right. Yeah. Create a normal dictionary and call two immutable. Well, really? I didn't know that was a thing. So I could have just made this be a new dictionary instance ID hash set instance ID. And then this stuff. No key value pair nonsense. And then two immutable. Is that a thing? Why does this not seem to exist? Dictionary doesn't contain a constructor that has 5 arguments. How do I do this here? New, oh. I need another set of curly braces? What have I done? What have I done? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. Missing the second. Oh, yeah, thank you. And then is that needed? Not containing a constructor that takes 5 arguments. I am going to probably save this for a little later because I'm clearly not thinking through this. Yeah. No, maybe let me look it up right now really fast. C# create dictionary with values. I have a double. Yeah, this should be double now at this point. And hey, Ramu. New dictionary. Oh, you don't need parentheses. I wonder if you could still call this invalid expression term. Oh, this can just be new now, right? I don't see what I'm doing wrong. Is the choice of hash set versus list a time complexity thing? No, it's a do you want unique elements or not? I mean, I guess it could be a time complexity thing. I have an extra comma. I didn't think the trailing comma should matter in this case because we have a trailing comma there too. I don't think that's the problem. It says no overload takes 4 arguments. It's an instance ID and then a hash set of instances. I don't know. Oh, brackets for each pair. Is that what I have missing? Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Okay, best overload has some invalid arguments. I wonder if I also need parentheses if I'm going to do things this way. I'm gonna undo this. I just don't feel like I should spend my time on this right now. But this is probably a good suggestion, and that would get rid of a lot of cruft here. Yeah. But I'll write it down as a cleanup thing. Cleanup. Consider using 2 immutable dictionary for the immutable dictionary that I have in the code base. You can use new only for the second parameter because you construct an anonymous object that way. It's not anonymous. I mean, I guess at the syntax level it's anonymous, but C# knows that it refers to a hash set, or should know. But I messed something up. So yeah, perhaps you're right, Beshik. Much cleaner initialization API that's less confusing. Oh, I've never seen that before. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, let's try that really fast. I've never seen that. So I know this is a different dictionary altogether, but I could apparently have done new the curly braces, then just something like item id.x. And then do this everywhere. Huh. Neat. I want to look at this side by side only because I don't exactly know if this matters a lot. Where is that? Here. Yeah. All right, let's close that now. And then turn off word wrap. So instead of curly braces now and a comma, we have an equals. I mean, everything otherwise looks pretty much the same. How many characters wide is this line? 69. And how many characters wide is this line? 68. Okay, so it got rid of 1 character. Appreciate your insights. As software engineers, are we screwed with regards to AI taking over our jobs? Yeah, I got to make a video on this at some point. I don't think yet that we are, but I'll try to answer this somewhat quickly. If you look at the general trends in human history, as computers have gotten better, people have always been like, yeah, but here's the stuff it can't do. And now there's very little I feel that a computer can't do and that people feel will never be able to do. So I think it is kind of a matter of time before all the things that we sort of considered to be purely human things are doable by computers. And that includes the jobs that we do. But I think it's going to be a very slow burn of right now, people who use AI are just slightly more efficient than people who don't use AI. That's my general take. Feel free to argue that. It's not the point. Let's say you assume that that's true. Then it's not, hey, I'm doing triple the job I used to be doing. It's like, I'm doing 5% more, maybe 10% more. Eventually, I think that gap will widen. And at that point, I think companies will just stop hiring as many people. But I think we're seeing this trend regardless of AI. In fact, I just had a very, very fun interview on Friday that if you want to watch, take a look at the past broadcast. It was the last pretty much hour of that stream. I talked to Mel, who works at Twitch, and said that Twitch has just let go a lot of people. They're not necessarily rehiring those people. She is now doing the job of, let's say, like 4 different product managers. And I don't think AI is what influenced that. I think it's just the trend in the tech industry right now. So I think when you combine that with efficiency improvements and kind of refocused companies, that, yeah, it'll result in fewer jobs. Better verify these. I think it's highlighted each individual character that's different. So you can see the commas are highlighted, but none of the numbers are highlighted. So I'm pretty sure this is correct. Yeah. Okay, well, let's write that down as a cleanup thing too. Use this new dictionary syntax everywhere. Yeah, thank you for telling me about that, Blub. I feel like I should have given more points to people today and haven't. So there's a point for Blub. Points do not mean anything in this chat. They're just ways of saying I'm better than you. So if you're at this point in the list, then you're better than everybody. I actually selected the top 3, but it was actually the top 5 because some people are tied. So this has been done. We still need to finish cleaning up this. I'd like to keep this, but I just don't think I'm gonna check this in. Actually, you know what? We could check in just this one thing, and I could say use new dictionary initialization syntax. I want to apply this to every dictionary eventually. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. All right, what are we doing? At what point is this a totally valid commit? And I guess we have to base on these tasks, of which I have checked off none of them. Make quests follow predetermined tracks. So we're done with that. That part is finished. And that's technically what this does, but doesn't this do a little bit more? Maybe not. Maybe not indeed. Yeah, I don't think so. All right, we're gonna need to do a couple other things here. We gotta run .NET format and we gotta restart this whole thing. .NET format. Yeah, just get rid of this. Do you have a public repo for the bot? Yeah, I do. I like to volunteer as a tribute for the lose a point for dumb comment system. That would have to be an exceptionally dumb comment. I don't even think I showed negative numbers on that list, though. I think there is no, like, dummy leaderboard. Not that anyone would ever want to top that. Or not that anyone should ever want to top it. People probably would want to. Get completed quests. I like that. Oh, yeah, this should not be checked in. So technically, this is going to make it so you can't complete quests as soon as I discard this. But whatever. This is good. This is bad. This is good. This is good. And this changed a bunch of stuff, but I think this is generally good. Yeah. Yeah, cool. All right. So have quests follow predetermined track. Yeah. Now mark that as done. Look at how satisfying that checkbox is. It's finished. Last one here. Thanks for the resub. Almost at 3 years. I appreciate it. Is it built in? Or do you install a global tool? I think it's built in. Yeah. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Let's look it up. .NET format. Yeah, it's just built into the CLI. Maybe it uses formatters that you need to apply, but the command itself is built in. How's your mini PC holding up? Mine started thermal throttling after a few months because the cheap thermal paste dried out already. I haven't actually looked in a while. SSH Atom mini PC. Is there a temperature in here? Yes, there is. I mean, I haven't noticed anything slowing down, and I'm using so little of this. Like, where's the RAM used? Yeah, 1.5 gigabytes. Bandwidth total is 38 gigabytes downloaded. For how long though? Where's the uptime? Where art thou? Uptime 30 days. Yeah, this is pretty good. That's weird though. 39 gigabytes. What is it doing? I guess every time I modify the repo, it's downloading a new Docker image, which is pretty big, but that hasn't been very common. Strange. I don't know what it's downloading. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's been doing fine. To be honest, I kind of feel like it's probably already paid for itself at this point. Although I know it really hasn't. But if I had to buy a new one, I wouldn't be that bummed about it. Okay, what's the next task over here? I think the next task is actually save and load stuff. Yeah, serialize quest and be able to restore them. Okay, so where is this shop save data or something? Yeah, we're going to save your quest progress. How do we do that? Quest is in what? Shop component? We could just serialize this. Why don't we? We must have a reason why not. Save data. Items. Get item displays. Is this inside the shop component? It is. Okay, so we don't, for whatever reason, just serialize the shop component. How do we load this? And next item display by looking in save data. All right. Yeah. Okay. Quests know their own ID, so I guess we can just store a hash set of quests. Yeah. All right. I mean, let's try this out, really. Like, we can improve upon this later. So we'll do a hash set quest equals this. This is get the shop component quest dot values to hash set. Sure. Then store this in here. Quest equals quest. Then put this here. Simplified. Oh, with that thing, yeah. Right. Now we put this over here. Public, this thing, quest. I don't think you can do this. I think we need to take this in as a, maybe you can. Maybe I'm just, never mind, ignore me. Change quest to be read-only. Oh yeah, I think this is the problem, right? It becomes read-only, so then you can't actually set this. So you need to take this in through a constructor here. So this is where what I should have done is make this a public record struct. And I'm just not going to do that yet. That's already on my list for other things to do though. So we said this equal to quest. Change quest to be read-only. Read-only init. Modifier read-only is not valid for this item. Do we just delete the init? I don't understand. I think we just set this here. Yeah, there. Then when we constructed this, which is through this thing, we pass in the quests here and delete this. All right. Now we need to be able to load that. No. Now we need to be able to save quests, right? What do we need to save? The ID and the number of items turned in. And I guess technically is complete. Yeah. Okay, so we have an item converter. I guess we need a quest converter. Oh, this is obnoxious. No, I don't want to do that. What if we just ran this and saw what happened? It's, yeah. What if we did that? Let's try that out. I think this is going to mess up. So we do this, 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 and then save. All right, what did that do? It didn't break. Did it actually save? Wow, look at that. It did. Well, that's pretty impressive. Okay, so all we need is the ID and the number of items needed. No. The number of items you turned in. Oh, there it is. Yeah, all we need is the ID and the number of items turned in. And I guess is complete. Yeah, that's smart. So let's ignore everything else. So go into quest, find quest data there, and ignore this somehow. Jason, ignore. Yeah. And there we go. Excuse me. All right, same deal as before. Click this button, click this, save the game. And now we go look at the save data. And yeah, now it just has ID, number of items turned in, and is complete. Okay, so that's saving. Now we need to be able to load this. So when we load a shop, we need to go through for each quest in quest, set quest. What did I do? Shop component on set quest. I think we can just do that. But I think we need a special consideration for when the quest is complete, but the number of items has changed. Yeah, so if quest.is complete, then quest.num items turned in equals. How in the world could this work? I don't think this can work. Maybe it can. Okay, yeah, I guess it can. Yeah, so let's try that. So the only way to test this is to get fire swords again, which we don't have. I really need to change this. All right, all quest data. How about this? Let's have it be you need 2 axes and then you need 3 mana potions, because that's possible. Yeah, that should work. I do use Copilot, yeah. And I like it a lot. I think it's also surprisingly good for this code base. Should a shop load a finished quest? So shops are the ones that have quests, and they should load finished quests so that they know not to give them to you another time. So yes, I think both parts of that, both the shop being the owner of that and the finished quest being loaded, makes sense. Okay, so we're going to do this. It should say give me 2 axes. Yes. Now we grant items. We hopefully get some axes. Yep. Now we just need to wait. There's 1. And let's increase the game speed. Come on, grab one of the axes. Oh. There we go. All right, there's 2. So that's good. Now we save. And now we should see that that quest is completed. Is complete, true. Yeah, so now if we were to reload the game, I'm going to restart the entire thing. Load. That failed. What failed? Each parameter in deserialization constructor on type quest must bind to an object property or field on deserialization. Each parameter name must match with a property or field. Huh. I guess because isComplete doesn't have a setter. Yeah. We can't ignore that though. I want to ignore it on load. There's probably a way to do that. C# Jason ignore only on load. I want to ignore from deserialization. Why can't you ignore it? It's computed anyways. So that one's computed, but here's the scenario. Excuse me. Scenario is you completed a quest like find 3 swords. Then a patch comes out and changes it to find 5 swords. So we need to know that you had completed it because we still want it to be completed even after the patch. Property should be writable. I guess we could, well, that would be dangerous, I guess. I was going to say, we could make it writable and just have it do nothing. Actually, we could make it writable and have it set the number of items you need. Yeah, what if we did that? Yeah, maybe that makes sense. How fast can I type? I've got a sort of joke answer for this here. But I guess I've got a... Where is it? Where is that video I did? Okay, I should just go find this once and for all. Learning curve. Oh, sure. Don't find my videos. Where is it? Ah, here it is. All right, we're going to make this command. Adam did... Oh, I think it's in the Colmac command, probably. Yeah. All right. Did a video on how the learning curve feels when learning Colmac. Yeah, there. That has a little bit more information, but in general, the reason I don't have a very easy answer for that is I just never feel like sharing it. That's all. A little cheeky, I guess. All right, so public bool, we have a get is going to be that. And then a set is going to be that. Yeah, this should only work if you can set it to true. If you can't set it to true, it shouldn't do anything. Yeah, I guess. Can we make this be like this? We probably can, but I need to do something totally different here. Yeah. Does that work? Hey, cool. I think it works. Yeah, sure. Let's try that. So we should be able to load the game now, I think. No, we still can't. It's the same general problem, though. All right, let's take a look at the save file again. What's going on? We have ID, which is on get and init. I think that should be fine. Then we have num items turned in and is complete. Num items turned in. Yeah. What's the problem here? What is the problem here? And why doesn't it give you more information about this stuff? Like what's the field it can't load? It can't deserialize to a init field? JSON deserialize init field. You can use init apparently. Add JSON include attribute on properties with private setters. Do I have a private setter for one of these? This should be public. This should be public, right? I don't see a problem. I don't understand this. Yeah, I don't see what could go wrong here. We have this save file and we have quest. If I split this, save file has ID. You know, I've looked at this a million times now, which is public, has a get and init. Apparently that should be okay. Public num items turned in, get and set. And then is complete. has a set. I don't know. National property field. Fields are only considered. Yeah, weird. I don't know why this is failing. I guess we could just delete stuff from here. Like, what if I just had ID? Would that also be messed up? So now let's clear this. This is probably the one I launched through the other. Nope, that wasn't. You don't have an empty constructor? I don't. Do I need an empty constructor? I guess it wouldn't know how to make this otherwise. I wonder if I should just make a converter at this point for this. Quest data. Also, quest data is not set up properly, right? So that would fail. The quest data should be set up properly because that's all just a set of constants. Well, like it's statically set up. You remove the default when you specify your own. I see. Okay. But wouldn't that be a different error message? Like I need a constructor with no argument? Oh, I see what you're saying. This wouldn't be called. Okay. So the problem is I'll get into this. gd.print testeroni. And we set a breakpoint here. And then I go undo what I changed in here. And then I'm going to need to look at how I did this for other stuff. So I click load. Yeah, it breaks into this. And then it's going to start calling the setters on these things. So like if I put a breakpoint here, it's presumably going to get called. Yep. Okay, but we won't have quest data. What? Yeah. All right. Well, how did I do this with other stuff? I think I just made save and load things. I took in all save data. And in this case, what am I trying to do? I'm just trying to deserialize this though. But it's deserializing it into a quest. How does the shop do this? Load from save data. Oh, because shop has an empty constructor. So we just need a load function. Okay, yeah, I think it's pretty reasonable. It's weird to have that though. What's the C# JSON constructor? When placed on a constructor, indicates that it should be used to create instances of the type on deserialization. Oh, so I can make it private? Like, what's the point of this? Deserialize with a specific constructor. Int. So this works. Oh, so it matches names for you? Oh, interesting. I think we'd have to call this ID though, JSON constructor. And then delete this. Try that out. Yeah, can we load? It looks like we can. Did it work? So we have that quest complete. So if I start a new quest over here on the shop, which I can't do because it's at the max level. We need to start shops with an available quest, I guess. So that I can just hack my way through this. Oh, wait, no, we could do it the other way. We could just make it not the max level. We could just set this to 3. Okay, now we load the game. We don't even need to change code. There, and now we can upgrade the shop, which will give us a quest, which should be the fire sword quest. Oh no, the potion quest. I changed it. But yes, that seemed to work. So now when we turn in 1 potion, do we even have a potion? We have 1. Yes. Let's wait for that to happen. Speed this up. Turn in the 1 potion. Oh, wait. Oh, that can't work because this is not a shop that can sell potions, so it can't take in potions. Yeah, whoops. Drat. Okay, well, it was smart right up until then. Yeah, so all quest data. Yeah, it can't be find 3 mana potions. It needs to be find fire swords, and we just need to be able to grant fire swords. Yeah, so that comes from here. And instead of big mana potions, we'll just have it grant fire swords. There we go. Yeah, but now we're going to have a problem, right? No, we're not going to have a problem. But I'm pretty sure this is already working. I want to test something else, which is what if I make this take now more than 2 items? So I go into here and I say you need 20 items in order to complete this quest. But because I had it marked completed, your next quest should still be the fire swords one. But I think if I save the game again, it's going to say that you have 20 of those items, when technically that never happened. But I don't know if that's a problem. So how do we test this? We load the game, and then we upgrade and grant a quest. Yep, it wants fire swords. But now if I save, it's going to save it. Yeah, that you completed it with 20 items. I think that's okay. I started out with a design doc. Oh yeah, I started out with a design doc. And all of that should exist in the VODs. I guess on Twitch they might have already been deleted, but if you go to my YouTube channel, you should find them somewhere here. And I don't know exactly where. Yeah, streams. It might have started in here. Does this have any Skeleseller stuff? No, I think it's all in the live stream stuff on YouTube then. Yeah, and you'll just need to search through here. But the document that we have, I actually literally yesterday just wrote, I decided to stop keeping this up to date since it's just extra work and no one's really reading this. But this is 26 pages and has the general game design, some class design stuff, ideas, the various checkpoints I wanted to hit. I think it'd be hard to work on a project of this size and not have a document for something. Because you do forget what you came up with. And then even if you don't forget what you came up with, you might forget why you came up with it. You have a template for this doc. If you were to just snapshot what you see on the left side, you could basically treat that as your template. I find that when I actually wrote, let me show you this. I have a game design note. Yeah. And my general template is listed here. I'll just paste this in the chat. Yeah, sections to making the document. I think it's good to have these: overview, ideas, questions, design, and scratch. If you're starting just blank document, working on a new game, these are pretty good sections that I start with. And yeah, I've got a bunch of other tips here that I wrote down, so feel free to read through that. But I think it's helpful. I think the idle ascendance one might be totally public. Is this public? Yeah, this one is public. I can share the link to this. This was like the foundation for Skeleseller. This one's even longer at 36 pages. And this is what formed this game on itch. It was really just the battle system of Skeleseller. And what we determined from releasing this is that it just wasn't a good enough game as it is. Like, we needed something more than that. You got in these battles, you slowly automated them. And then, yeah, you had a whole skill tree thing. And then now 25% of the time, my character would just take an action without me needing to do anything. It didn't do it then. It didn't do it then. Let's roll another 1 out of 4. Nope. All right, well, that was 4 times and didn't do it. I'm not going to sit around for this. But yeah, that was the foundational game for all that. All right, so I think there's going to be a problem, which is when we load, we're not going to... Did that work? No, yeah, it doesn't show you the quest progress. So we don't restore that. So I need to do that. Let's move this up to the top. Yeah. I'm hoping this isn't that hard to do. Oh, I never even wrote the thing there. Yeah. Make sure we show the icon above the bin when you reload. What does that? Set the quest. We don't actually set the quest, but all we should need to do is call that function then, right? So when you load, if there's a quest that is incomplete, then it must be the quest that you're on. Else quest equals quest. Should be it. Create the non-existent games you see in mobile ads. I think people have done that, and I think they've done moderately well. I've never understood that aspect of it, though. How is it that people can advertise for a game that doesn't represent the gameplay at all? Like, I get that, and I think probably some countries have regulations about this, that if you advertise a game using like trailer footage and you make it look like it's gameplay, usually there's a thing at the bottom that says like this is not in-game footage. But it's close enough to what you're getting. But yeah, a lot of the mobile games, it's like, this is just a different game. How is it that those things can still be around? Hey, look, we fixed it. So now let's have it give them one fire sword. We don't have any fire swords. Let's add, oh, nice, we got some. Okay, let's have it give them just one. Go grab one. Any of you can do that? Yes. Okay, one. We're going to save this. There, save. And now load. But now restart the entire game and then load. Having a small mini game inside the main game that barely reminds of that gameplay trailer. Why? I just, oh man, it's just such a weird concept overall. Well, anyway, by the way, that weird urge that you mentioned, I think it's pretty clear where the urge came from. The video you watched. And that's how influencers work. All right, yeah, I think this is pretty good. I didn't even expect to do that so soon into this, but I think this is working. We only save quest progress, though. We need to save the player-wide skill tree as well and how many quest points you have. But I think this is pretty good. Where is... See, this is the one thing I don't really like about using GitHub for task lists. And this is just true of issues. It's not even the task board. Is that it's just hard to see where you're making edits in relation to everything. Because the tabbing, it doesn't look like what it looks like when the preview, but you can't modify the preview. All right, here we got to say allow for saving which skills you got and how many available points you still have. Also, we got to save shopkeeper's progress. I'll just put this here somewhere. Why is all of this? Yeah. Save a shopkeeper's available quest. This may look different by the time we have quests offered only upon finding items, i.e. we may need to save which items you've seen before. Hey, Appleseed. You got influenced. Was the reason for swapping it from To Do Plus to GitHub? Oh, was it just so that others can see and modify the list? It was, I think, mostly that. And I think also with To Do Plus, you have, and you don't have to have this, but I had like 1 mega file. And the problem is that that file just keeps growing and it's hard to ignore that it's grown so big. I think with GitHub projects, it's like you could still, whoops, not that one, this one. You could still have tons and tons of tasks that just never get done, but they're not all in your face. You separate things by a particular iteration. And I like that organization better. And I do think this works well. Also, I think this follows how a lot of people do their tasks. They follow like a Jira board or some kind of Kanban thing. And they, you know, these columns are pretty self-explanatory and it's easy to see what people are working on, when and why. Crazy how much goes into this if this is just for one quest. This is for the quest system, which is then going to get used by all of the quests in the game. So we have this here, all quest data, like find 10 axes. This is, you know, find 10 axes. I guess they're all pretty stupidly named quests only because they're all going to be straightforwardly named, not stupidly named. Um, yeah, but this is just making a game. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that follows just making a feature. We need to save and load it correctly. I think we've done this correctly now, though, so I think we can check this in. Does it still not have a decent project and task experience, like checking subtasks? No, I think it's pretty good. I mean, in this case, this quest follow-up work, this corresponds to this. So this is a task in my project. And then if you look at the underlying issue, you could see how many of the subtasks I completed. I don't think you can see that roll up here, but I also don't think it's really that important right here. It's just, have you gotten this done or not? For team, having a board makes sense, but for myself, I still prefer it to do plus. Yeah. And I'm still evaluating all of this. I've only started using GitHub projects as of like December. And I think it's been pretty good so far. And then for personal projects, I do like just the ease of being able to type in one place and have it be really quick. And I don't know, sometimes that tends to be here. All right, I think we just got to check this in. What time is it? 12:12. Yeah, I should probably get lunch soon. All right, I'm not going to check in that one bit, but this I would like to check in. This is good. This probably wasn't needed. If I delete this setter, does this change anything? Really liked linear. Yeah, the last like big app scramble that I feel I did was when I was searching for a note-taking app, and I tried out a ton of them, and I don't know, that was not a very fun process. Then I settled on Obsidian. For task management, I think I'm just going to stick with what I have for now. All right, so if we try loading the game, does it work? It looks like it worked. So it looks like we don't need this. And I think setting is complete to true is a little weird, unless we want to do it from here. How do we do this? If it's complete, we say that you have the number of items you need. You know what? I think we're just going to delete this. I think we're going to go back to what I had just said. So this will have a setter here. There. And this is mostly used by loading. In fact, can we just press F12 on this and see that it's only used there? No, you can't. That would be so nice if you could do that. You have to search through this, and this also finds getters, which in this case isn't too bad. No, wait, this won't find that it's loaded through JSON. Actually, there is no reference to this. Maybe that's why F12 didn't do anything. Does it do something here? Yes, it does. Okay, then that's just my bad. Might want to track previously completed quests. Oh, we definitely want to track previously completed quests. Technically, every quest in the game is part of a quest chain. So the blacksmith is going to offer something like, find 10 axes and you get 1 quest point. And then maybe, find 5 fire swords and you get 2 quest points. And then these quest points are going to go into your player-wide skill tree. So right now we only have a skill tree for each individual class. But imagine somewhere there's like a, hey, make your customers move faster and make your characters do more damage in battle and make items be worth 15% more money. And he'd be like, yeah, I want a couple points in that one and a couple points in that one. So that's what the quest points are going to do. And this is the redesigned system. The original system was just bring items here and we'll give you a reward. But the problem was there could be some very influential upgrades. Imagine something like customer speed plus 10% versus, I don't know, like make 5% more money from everything. It's like, well, probably this one's more impactful. So what if you were just never offered this? Well, that's kind of sucky, right? Like the rest of the game isn't really based around replay value. So to have it come from just quests is kind of weird. So instead, what I think would make a lot more sense is you just see a skill tree and everything costs a certain number of points and has prerequisites. And I think it'd be easier for us to balance as well. And I was even debating on the shop upgrade space being tied to that. So right now, here we have 4 item displays. And that meant that if you brought, 4 swords over there or something like that, that you could have them all be displayed at once, but otherwise they'd just be stuck in the storeroom. Well, that could be tied to spending quest points, but I don't think it should be. Because all classes should be somewhat distinct. A reference to Karl Marx. Yep, you caught me. And Four Swords is a reference to Zelda. All right, we're gonna check that in. Gonna check this in. This actually really wasn't too bad. Yeah, this is done in a bad way. This should be up here. Yeah. Otherwise, it looks good. Cool. So save and load quest data. We still don't save the number of available quests in each shop, which we could compute now. I think about it. That's because that property is probably going away pretty soon. Although now it could be computed from how many quests you've completed and the shop level and how many quests you've completed. All right, let's publish this branch before I go too much farther. I'm not really worried about this computer like crashing or something, but why not just click a button? We changed this. Probably just want to stash that for now. Git stash. All right, publish to origin. And then git stash pop. Make sure it actually made it to the origin. Looks good. Yep. Cool. Nintendo's listening. Nintendo's going to shut down the game because I said Zelda. You're like, that's ours. Nope, sorry. We own Skeleseller now. We will sell you a license to it. But that's our IP. Okay, so what do we have next? Make it so shopkeepers only offer quests when the following conditions are met. You haven't done the quest already, and you found the item the quest needs. Yeah, so this is the other big change that I wanted to do. Right now in the game, you click a shop, and it says upgrade shop, and you immediately get a new item display, and you get a quest. In the future, I think how it's going to work is the first time you find an item that's needed by a quest, like let's say the first time you find a demon helmet, then the shopkeep will give you that quest. Although, is it going to be obvious? It's got to be the lowest level quest, I guess. Oh, no, there's got to be prerequisites for quests. Okay, yeah, we need to do prereqs. And you've done all of the prereqs for, oh, that's not a thing that I have. Wait, I want to type that again. It's, yeah, for the quest. This is so that you don't skip a bunch of instances and then get the end game quest. Although actually in that case, you wouldn't know that you even have a quest. You probably need to like file a task to have NPCs give you hints about where to find the next quest item. It's possible that you skip instances and then just never find what you need for the quest. Or maybe after some amount of time, or maybe after you are a high enough level, it just gives you the quest automatically. And then the NPC can tell you where to find the item. Ideally, this just isn't possible. Maybe the game doesn't even, I don't know. You could also just avoid this problem entirely by having an item drop be a guaranteed drop after a certain time. Yeah. It'd be funny if we replaced a very special item with that item. We can't ever have very special items drop if they only drop once and you need them for something. Because it's possible you just don't even have space. Okay, so I don't think we're going to affect that just yet. I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think we're going to do that. No, wait, we need to do the quest points thing. Oh, we need to do all this. I wanted to get to the skill tree at some point, although, like I said, it's pretty much break time. We could just work on the tree anyway. I don't know. I'll leave it for the afternoon to decide. Well, progress-wise, there's not a lot to show, but we did a lot. How'd the interview go? It was great. I really liked it. I've liked all the interviews so far. This one, I felt like it almost would have been nice to have another hour. I mean, I guess I could just schedule another interview, but then I would need to be like, hey, I'm going to rehash all these points on the first thing. But yeah, it's online. I highly recommend watching it. I'm going to put it on YouTube as a standalone video, so there's no need to go hunt through the VODs and find it. But I don't know when I'm going to do that. I've liked recording an intro for it, so it's not just, hey, here's content, go figure it out as you watch it. More like, hey, here's what you're about to see. All right, I got to go. I'm going to take my lunch break. I'm going to come back. I'm going to do another 2 to 3 hours of stuff. I think it's been a good morning. Hope you've all had a good morning or afternoon. One of those two things. If it's any other time of day, I hope it was neutral. Yeah, so it's lunchtime. Yeah. For me, it is 12:22. So see you all later. Hope you have a good time. I'll be back in like an hour.